Need an introduction, really. I mean,
No.
this is a sort of hobby kind of stream anyway, isn't it?
Hello. Hello.
What
There
are
we
we
go.
on now?
We are
Hello.
now.
Excellent.
We have Colin
Can-
from Cold Open Stories. Hello, Colin.
Hey, Colin. Hello, man. How's it going? Absolutely loving the work, by the way. The stuff that's going on with Cold Open Stories is fantastic at the moment.
It is. I have just been re-listening actually to. And of course, my brain goes completely fucking blank because
Of course it does.
I am an asshole. That's why.
You heard it here first.
Yesterday's news. I've been listening to yesterday's news again because I absolutely love yesterday's news. It's actually taken over from a few of the others as one of my favourites from Cold Open Stories.
Uh-huh.
I just love it. Mostly because it makes me think of like a Fox News of from 40k.
Oh my God! Can you imagine? I mean, like how extreme Fox News already is. Jeez,
I'm
God.
going to.
Mind you, that said, they probably fit rather well within the Imperium of Man. That's the kind of civilization they want to bring about anyway, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Welcome to.
Not to get too political too early, mind.
Oh, give us 5 minutes.
Yeah. I have such a weird sort of paint setup here. It's just organized chaos. This is how I start. I'm not like Adam over there, who's all organized and has got like an actual table and things. I'm doing this on my bed, basically, because this is how I started doing the hobby, and this is how I've always done it.
I was going to say.
I assumed the thing behind you, George, was your pleasure rack.
What,
Scorponok?
Well,
no, the bed frame.
He means the bed frame here.
The pleasure rack.
Well, it does look a little bit like the frame of one of those Slaneshi chariots, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Sans the blades, so yeah.
And yes,
I don't think
I'm aware that my video.
I don't think this can stand up to that kind of punishment. To be
oh my God!
honest.
Wow!
So,
oh jeez.
Yeah, just blow your own trumpet a little bit there, George. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. What can I say? Slanesh worshipper. I mean,
I'm a little disappointed that your bed frame isn't made of wood and has giant curtains on the side of it. Like Ebenezer Scrooge.
Oh, I'm actually. It's almost like a reveal all, isn't it? This one. I'm actually undoing my impression. The impression that I've cultivated for the last 10 years. It's all going away now.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Right. This is the reality.
Hello, Colin.
Oh man.
Special guest star, long-time listener, first-time caller.
Hey, Colin, how's it going, man?
Good. I thought I would sneak in on here and say hello.
Brilliance. Absolute brilliance.
My God, he has a face. He has an actual face.
I'm not just a disembodied hobbyist. Good to see you guys.
Hello.
I'm now hidden behind the Fluffenhammer, which is fine by me.
I'm going to now take the Fluffenhammer logo away.
Just ruining your OBS or whatever Streamcast you're using. I'm just here to wreck stuff.
To be perfectly honest, this is such a terrible camera. I don't think it makes that much difference, to be perfectly honest.
See, what I was actually going to say was, considering the levels of messing up that we do on a regular basis, there is no destruction of OBS.
This is doing all right, isn't it, at the moment? It's actually suspiciously all right.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
Exactly.
Why would you say that out loud?
Have you made... So basically, have you made like all the right propitiations, Adam? Is that it?
Well, I did
The machine
sacrifice.
spirits are pleased with you.
I went out and got myself a couple of orphans this morning. Got them sacrificed. The goat with 1,000 young is happy. So yeah.
That's what you think the Mechanicum worship is. Oh, that's interesting.
Well,
I think he got the wrong cultist handbook.
I was going to say, I always thought it was a Qatar, not a Lovecraftian entity.
Hang on. Let's just have a look. See, sacrifice.
He just read the CT and then he just assumed for the rest of it.
I get it. Right.
You see what I've done here, right?
Cthulhu too. Yeah, he. Reading comprehension really is at a low in the Imperium. We know that many civilians only have a, elementary second-year education, which is to say, not very much. So the ABCs of CHAOS is, a little understated.
Oh my God! I love the notion of what Imperial education would look like.
Oh, it's indoctrination.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, basically,
well, it's yesterday's news as well, right? Like you were just talking about that. That's what it is.
Absolutely, yeah. It's terrifyingly prescient, I think, is the
What
word
does
I'd
it
use.
mean to be human in the Imperium of Man?
What it means is
It is to live in the worst dogmatic regime of all
Yeah.
time.
It's what we tell you it is. That's what it is.
So, this evening I'm going to be working on Baller and Burke. And if time allows, I have down here a box of orcs, because I still have a lot of orcs that need painted. So I'm going
Oh,
to
are these AOS orcs,
Oh,
Adam,
they
or
are,
are they
they are
40k orcs?
not only that, hang on, let me just grab some bits and bobs. There are things like,
Are they primed? Oh, they're not even primed.
there's this,
Oh,
my Snotland steam tank, built out of the Blood Bowl steam tank, because I got
Oh.
4 of the Snotland Blood Bowl teams for a dirt cheap price.
oh, very nice.
I am aware, Phil, that my camera is back to front. I'm trying to work it out, because I made a mistake of saying it's going well. Something has gone wrong.
That was actually my mistake. I do
Actually, no.
apologise.
What's happening here is that it's not back to front at all. It's Russian. So you're welcome to Warhammer. We're going to be making the orc, and you sit there with the potato cam that George is using, and that is how you know it is Russian. It's on a potato.
I thought I was watching an international cooking show for a moment. I was a little taken aback.
Oh, did you think you tuned into like the Great British Bake Off or something to that effect?
Well, yeah, or some sort of very strange, like, well, everyone, we are going to be telling you how to cook with sprues. Now, first, melt your sprues.
And what we do now is we go outside and we punch bear to death, and then when bear is dead, we use bear's own fur to make heat. From heat we make fire, and from fire we cook potato.
I feel like you're on a watch list now, just for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been on a watch list for years, mate. So yeah,
Very cool.
here we go, and that's a
I was going to
Blood
say,
Bowl
you know,
orc.
on my own channel, I tend to hang around with like Marxist scholars or whatnot. I'm fairly certain I'm already on.
Yeah, no, you're already there.
So,
Top of the list.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
and what's Andy working on?
Nothing, because all my stuff's in another room, so I can't.
Oh.
Computer and paintings in a different room.
So you're just sitting and watching, Andy?
Yeah,
Ah.
pretty much.
You're just here for
Engaging in erudite and eloquent conversation is what you're doing, Andy,
So-
isn't it? That's,
Yes.
that's what you're up to.
Andy, you and I are going to go on to the right side of the screen, just because we don't have any hobby stuff in front of us, and we're just going to have a conversation.
Yeah, that sounds good. I did get Zagrag painted up and finished, so that's. But I did that before the stream. That was fine. I enjoyed that.
I just finished off Benaruin from Agtrill, the Counterfeit Blade, and I'm going to hold her up on camera right here, see if the lighting works.
Oh, that looks nice,
Ooh.
man.
Come on, camera.
It doesn't like it. It doesn't want to focus.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta love autofocus.
I know, right? Jeez Louise.
Whoa.
I like the spears coming out the back.
was gonna
though
say,
it
that's very
seems
cool.
like a snapping danger.
Only travel with magnets on the bottom, never never in a
that's right.
foam container.
Are the spikes there to stop any units getting in close range combat as well, so they can't touch the base?
Yes, 100%. It's just a deterrent, really.
I thought so. Yeah. I noticed you've got a familiar in the background as well on a plant. Very Thousand Sunny of you.
Very much.
Indeed.
But he's hiding. He's keeping a low profile.
That's fair. That's
Zeech
fair.
approves.
Yeah, he's got little horns as well, so he's very demony. I like it.
There we go. Figure that out.
Oh man, yeah, you
Oh.
got some nice detail on there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, hang on.
What are you gonna do for the base? Do you think? How are you gonna base it?
I'm going to take it off that base, put it on a 32, just for like autark sizing, and then I'm going to just do a bunch of stone ruins because the story does take place, when she's walking through an old ancient Eldari forge. So maybe some, just maybe a little glimmer of yellow energy here or there, but everything's just going to be
Oh.
stone Eldar rocks or whatnot.
Oh, okay,
Sort
okay.
of like the wraith bone stuff that they construct everything out of.
Well, I'm going to do it from inside because in the counterfeit blade, she has to get through a Blackstone Wraith construct to get inside, and once she's in there, I just imagine it being a lot more pristine. But dear Lord, I've already committed to doing the spears and all these swords and things decorating the base, so it's going to be a lot of those, just a lot of just stone and left behind blades.
Oh, you're going to be sick of painting like that stone color by the time you're done.
For people who aren't aware,
I don't know.
Colin
Maybe.
here is the mastermind behind Cold Open Stories, which does a lot of, should we say, unofficial 40k tales? Unofficial but watched.
You can't say unofficial legally. I am obligated to say it.
And the stuff that he does is very, very cool. If you like
stunning
audio dramas, and if you like, I say this isn't a word of a lie, but I mean you're up there with some of my favourite professionals for the stuff that you managed to produce. Honestly, you need to get out there and you need to be listening to the Cold Open Story stuff.
Yeah,
the only thing I would say
absolutely
against him is that Colin possibly has killed people in the past with a chainsaw on top of Mount Everest. Yeah, it's a possible.
That's a very
have to get
specific place to do it.
Well, it's the verisimilitude. You have to really, record what you know. And I'm a big believer of authentic soundscape, so I did have to actually murder a couple people.
committed to the foley. Yeah?
And
it's all part of the craft.
And of course, the other thing
If you're going to get away with murder anyway, it would be on the top of Mount Everest. I hear lots of people don't make it back from Everest, so...
Oh, absolutely.
It's a
It'll
good
just be like,
place.
they just ran out of oxygen. And then
Yeah,
the next trip goes up there, and they just see like 18 different, stab wounds. They're like, I don't think oxygen stabs into your body quite like that. But that's why you use icicles, because then it all melts, and you can just say that they landed on something, and the evidence flows away.
Is this
And this is how we find out about my crimes, is on like a niche Warhammer episode on Twitch. Is like, now the authorities have been dispatched.
As confessionals go, it's a niche one.
It really is. Let's see if legally we can make it stick.
And of course, the other downside is that there's no Age of Sigmar stuff on Cold Open. That's just saying.
Nope. But we are going to be launching into doing original works in 2022.
Oh, you actually doing AOS stuff?
When I say original works, I mean not just beholden to Warhammer. I mean we're going to be opening the door to new franchises, original stories. It's going to be a bit of a cosmic shift. We're not leaving Warhammer behind, but we want to be able to tell some new stories too.
Oh, that's
very
fantastic.
cool.
Are we talking like tabletop RPG?
We are talking a little bit closer to what you might expect from Love, Death, Robots.
Oh, okay.
okay.
Interesting.
Right.
That's something that we'll have to stay tuned for. I do think that being able to work with people on Warhammer fan fiction and to do these projects really does help people understand that maybe if you've never touched pen paper before, or you just want to play in the setting but you don't consider yourself like a writer, with big quotation marks, this does give you a venue. This does give you a way to kind of discover your niche or discover what sort of stories inspire you. And we'll be working with some of the people that we have collected within the writing community over the past 2+ years, and working with them on some original stories.
Fantastic.
That's
Absolutely
great.
fantastic. Look forward to the output. Really do.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to the moment where all of the horror stories all start coming together. We get the terror that I have noticed crops up in your work so many times.
I don't know if anything I've written is pure horror, but I definitely agree that there is just an undercurrent of fear. I think a lot of, at least for what I write, starts with the idea of what are we trying to overcompensate for? What are we afraid of losing, or what are we afraid of getting? And then that just helps me write conflict by then going to the opposite end of it, of saying, well, what do we do to overcome the things that we fear? Maybe it's because I'm a very anxious person. Maybe it's because I think that that's just true to my experience. But I can usually point to every single character in any of the audio dramas is afraid of something, and that's usually springs up to their overcompensation, like with Hounds of Bedlam, or to this idea of a sense of loss, like with the Counterfeit Blade.
I don't think I've ever actually talked to you about Hounds of Bedlam, have I?
I don't. No, I think we. Oh God, I'm trying to remember what the last one that we actually talked about was.
I think the last
Go
time
back and
the
take a
last,
look at
the last time we spoke, I spent a lot of time just telling you how much you made me cry over a Titan. So
Yeah, I do remember that.
Thanks for that.
Yeah. Beep boop. I think maybe was it Cog and Crimson or Mechanicus story I had definitely wrapped. I'm trying to remember if However Small, However Hidden had come out yet. I think it might have, because we were talking about working with Stephen Rhodes.
yes. Yeah.
So I guess where we would have left off was Counterfeit Blade, then Hounds of Bedlam, Yesterday's News, and Hunter's Watch were the four since we talked.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And then Three Chances starts release next month.
Yeah, awesome. Because I think I'm actually, I've gone back a little bit to listen to some older ones because I've completely run out, which makes me sad. Not just of
this is where the Fluff and Hammer just becomes a Russian nesting doll for people coming on, and I'm just like playing the audio from them, and she's like, he's infiltrated the feed. It's a gene stealer cult. Get him out of here.
I'd be interested to see what would happen if a gene stealer cult happened on Twitch.
I imagine it's probably already happened, and it's called Twitter. A biting commentary.
Well, yeah, if it's a gene stealer, it will be biting. Yeah.
Hey.
Oh.
Womp womp. Check your dad jokes at the door.
Never. I'm an actual dad, so an actual dad compared to a fake dad.
You're like, I'm physically incapable.
They don't stop at me. They just happen, and I can't stop them now. I apologise in advance.
Adam, in the concept of fathers and family and brothers and all that, we didn't talk about hounds. What was your immediate response? I'm just curious to hear.
Hounds actually freaked me out quite badly.
Why?
I shall explain. I'll also explain the situation I was in when I listened to a certain part, that namely being the end, which I'm not going to spoil here, because I think people should really get out there and listen to it.
Absolutely, yeah.
So the way that story ends, after everything you're led to believe and everything that you're kind of expecting to happen, I wouldn't say it's a switch, because it isn't, because the hints and everything's there. The story kind of makes a logical ending. But I was completely by myself, walking along an empty, desolate field. It was very, very cold. There was a little bit of snow on the ground, and as I was walking along, I heard nothing around me. Listening to that story, and you know when you get that fight or flight response inside your soul, of just, I'm not happy with where I am in the world right now. I would like to be elsewhere. That's the response I got to the end of that.
Wow.
That's a wonderful compliment. It really is.
I'd say so. It's gonna go on the DVD dust jacket. You know?
Of course.
It's so good. I wished I was somewhere else.
This story made me unhappy.
I appreciate you sharing that, because a lot of this is done in the bubble, and I'm sure you guys can attest as well. What you get from your listeners is only usually 10% of your listening audience, really. And you might get like a thumbs up, a like, but it's like, well, what does that equate to? How do I qualify that?
Of course.
700 likes, but no one leaves a comment. You're like, well, what's the feeling? What's the emotion? So it's interesting to kind of get out of that bubble and to hear that from you. Also, because it's like I was going through my own stuff while writing it, but I keep hearing people. It's interesting to hear where people listen, because I remember back when I was talking with Mark and Eric, the hosts of Lorehammer podcast. They were talking about listening to When All Lights Have Gone Out, and they were on a drive. They were in the rain, and so what happens is that whole story starts with a procession of sisters walking through the rain. And so it's this interesting idea of the environment that you're listening has a sort of way of encroaching into your listening experience and making you feel like you're there. I don't think the same could be said about like on The Hunter's Watch, because that starts off with like a galactic battle. But when you get those smaller moments of walking into a chapel or on a train on your way to go to work, or, you know, going through your underhive, whatever that is for you, whether it's walking through an apartment or maybe you're just out for a stroll downtown, it's very interesting to hear how where you listen affects your engagement with a story.
Absolutely. I think environment can have a big effect on how you react to something. I think if you're listening to something when you're at work and part of your mind is considering what else needs to be happening, you're not giving it your full attention, there's a very strong possibility you're going to miss a lot. You're not going to get as much out of it. Being by yourself, of course, you're always going to get more out of it. Being by yourself with all the lights off, that's how the War of the Worlds should always be listened to. That's how.
Agreed.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're going to listen to Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds, it has to be with all the lights off. You have to be by yourself, and you have to be in a very, very good mood, because by the end of that, you are going to be in a very odd mood. Honestly, I've never needed to take any form of hallucinogenics. Just lights off and Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds. That's all I ever need.
Your brain is already a tar pit of emotion, so why do you need to, highlight it?
Exactly. There's do you read much Pratchett there, Colin? Like Terry Pratchett, right?
Not for a long time though.
Do you remember the concept of knerd? Sam Vimes is knerd.
For the listeners,
he is always 2 drinks below minimum. So he needs 2 drinks to be sober, right? I've always believed that is how I react to reality. I am 2 drinks below reality constantly. I don't need hallucinogenics or anything because all this stuff already happens in here.
Well, Adam, what is reality?
Reality is constantly what you make. As China Maville once said, reality is that thing that people try to sell you on a regular basis. Ignore them.
Is this the first step to bring everyone on Twitch along with us for the ride to talk about how we are in a simulation?
Nope. Because if this was a simulation, someone somewhere has gone very wrong.
Fair.
Yeah. If this is the simulation that's meant to keep us all happy as we power up the machine, so to speak, then it's gone wrong. We need to get Norton antivirus in here, stat. We need to...
The existential Norton antivirus. I don't even want to know what that would look like.
It would probably look like a Kurzgesagt video or something like that. It would just be neon bright colors.
I'm just going to move...
It's like, we're shutting down your life now. But it would do it in a very cute way.
In a very kawaii way. We're shutting down your life now. I'm just seeing if I can focus this in a little bit more.
I'd be most disappointed. I have been promised all my life an epic sort of apocalypse of some description, and if that's what I get, I will be most vexed.
Well, obviously the future is what you make it, George.
Or not, as the case may be.
Well, I think... Sorry, I'm reading things and trying to build things and having a conversation. Multitasking is not my strong point.
It's not easy, is it? I'm trying to base coat this little thing here, his screaming cloak of faces, and hold a cogent conversation at the same time.
What? Sorry, what are you painting?
Oh, he's a little Thousand Sun sorcerer made from the old Cranon the Relentless miniature from Dark Vengeance. But I've sculpted screaming faces onto his cloak, and it's making base coating it rather tricky.
What's the last thing would have been Battleruin that I did. I did the Hounds of Bedlam. I did Cog and Crimson. I've got a bunch of Tyranids now. I'm finding that my enjoyment of the hobby is not even building full armies. It's just doing small story groupings. I guess you could use them for Kill Team if you really wanted to, but
absolutely.
With the way that our lockdowns have been here in Canada, it's also right now. Let me check the weather. I think it's like minus 42 degrees right now. Like I'm not going anywhere.
That doesn't sound like a weather that I would enjoy.
Yeah, mine. We'll be reaching a low of -50 today.
Nope.
Wow.
Nope. Don't like that. Nope.
I
Sorry.
think we're one of the top 12 coldest places on the Earth right now. Let's check that.
Which is actually weird because weren't you in like right up there during last summer, like one of the hottest places on the Earth? I want to say.
Whereabouts?
There were parts of Canada last year, wasn't the last summer, that were the hottest parts of the planet. I can't remember
potentially, but I know that usually Africa and for whatever reason France just get absolutely scorched each year.
Yeah, I'm sure there was about a week or so where Canada had like the hottest temperatures on the planet. I can't remember. It was something weird, like it was Canada, and there was some country I'd never heard of until then. I can't.
Yeah, we.
quite remember now.
Where was it? It was. I'm just looking at it right now. It was June 30th, 2021. We hit an all-time record, 121 degrees.
Jesus.
Yeah, that was in a different province than mine.
Yeah.
But I'm looking. Yeah. Yep.
That's
Good Lord, that is not fun.
No, I feel fully confident in saying that would probably be the end of me. To be perfectly honest.
Never leave the home. Stay inside.
Well, if you know if it's one thing that that white men have, it's the ability to not sunburn when going outside at that temperature, right?
It makes you better because I'm ginger.
Just doing the conversion of Fahrenheit to Celsius here. So yeah, 122 Fahrenheit is 50 Celsius.
Sheesh.
Ouch.
Andy's perfect.
And then right
weather.
now we hit minus 51, which is funny because then they kind of equate once you go below zero. They're practically the same. It's like minus 58 Fahrenheit is minus 50 Celsius.
Huh. I have, without realising it, I have finished building my boiler and berth. Oh.
You did it.
So, now, because I'm me, and because I don't like waste, I've now got some sprues here and a base.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where things get interesting. And I just start chopping up the base to make some scenery. Because I don't like throwing sprues out. And
Well, that's why you got to melt them down as part of your cooking show.
That's exactly what I'm doing here. Using polystyrene cement, I'm going to chop up a ton of the sprues to make a nice rocky texture, which I will then cover in texture paint later, and it'll give him something a bit cooler to stand on.
Sorry if I'm a little quiet, by the way, guys. I am desperately trying not to ruin the paint job I've done on this guy.
Wreck it.
Alright, what we'll do is, Andy, Colin, start a conversation.
All right.
I love the way you just told them to do that. So, yes, do it now. We decree.
I do like how we were ready though. We were like both like,
Yeah, right, let's go. Conversation. Yes,
Andy's
that
worked for
thing
me
that
for years.
human beings do.
Andy's worked with me for years on these things. He's always ready to expect the unexpected.
Yeah. Always ready, always prepared. I'm setting up my streaming stuff for tonight, so that's why I've been quiet.
What are you streaming, Andy? What are you playing at the moment?
For tonight, it will be continuing on with the Dark Souls 3 Convergence mod. We're moving
very
on
nice.
to Ariandel, I think, unfortunately.
Oh, what fun!
Yeah, very cold, very full of dogs.
Yes.
Lots of mean things. Everything has been pretty easy so far, though. The Nameless King was a joke on the Convergence mod. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The Convergence mod adds a lot of stuff, but you
Yeah.
get overpowered fairly quickly.
Right, okie doke. Because I'm at him now, actually, on my current playthrough.
Oh, the Nameless King.
I
Yeah.
am directly outside the Nameless King. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Are you gonna do it with people or on your own? Because it took me a while to get him done on my own, but I did manage to do it.
There is a naughty thing you can do on your own. If you keep him at a certain distance and just use a crossbow,
Oh
he doesn't
no.
do anything. He doesn't do anything.
Is this in his second phase or his first phase?
This is in his second phase. You have to get him off the dragon first.
Oh, does he not hoof the wind at you? Because he doesn't
no.
starve it.
If
He
you
doesn't.
keep him,
Yeah.
no, if you keep him at a very particular distance, all he does is walk at you.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Someone told me that, and I tried it, and it's like, oh god, they're absolutely correct.
Oh, no.
This incredibly, massively difficult, portentous boss, and he's got a little bit of a glitch going on.
Yeah, that's a shame. I'd say he's a lot easier than, like, the Orphan of Kos, though, because Kos just keeps coming.
Oh, well, yeah, the Orphan of Kos is like, well, yes, it's Bloodborne,
Yeah.
and it's the end of Bloodborne, and it's the end of that particular add-on, you know, the old hunters, yeah. But that
Yeah.
fight, that is one of my favourite fights in that entire game series. The Orphan of Kos, what a beautiful thing.
It's just a pain in the ass. If, like, when I played my first round of Bloodborne, I had an arcane build, and what does the Orphan of Kos have?
Oh no!
Yeah, he has very high arcane defense. I was like, oh wow, so
That
this
he
is much
does.
harder. Yeah.
That he does, yeah.
Yeah, he took a long time to die.
Yeah,
He did
I
it
bet he-
eventually, but my
I bet
god.
he bloody did.
Yeah, pulling teeth. Nameless King isn't too bad. The thing that'll catch it is if you don't recognize an attack. I think
Yeah.
his attacks are fairly easy to do or to watch.
He does telegraph them quite, you know. The animations are reasonably easy to see what he's gonna do.
The main problem is just the heft of the damage he does. Like he hits you and your health just vanishes.
If he gets you, if he hits you, you're done.
Yeah.
Largely, you're pretty much done. He'll catch you in a combo and you'll be done.
That's the thing, yeah. Like, if it's one hit, if it's a normal hit, a clean hit, yeah, you'll
Yeah.
probably survive. If it's a counter hit where you're doing something,
you're done.
maybe you're dead.
Yeah.
Or if it's a hit confirm where he does, like you say, a 2-hit combo, then you're probably dead as well.
Yeah.
So, oof. But I got Stinky Wolf to beat. I've got lots of Evil Crow people to beat, and I've got Horrible Lady, and I've got Man stuck on chair.
Knowing nothing about this game, those descriptions sounded like literally any game. Like I actually could not place. I'm like, is
How
this
ma-
Resident
how ma-
Evil?
how ma-
Is this a tabletop game?
How many guys do you have to fight who are stuck on a chair?
The funny thing is, I know every single boss he spoke about.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
got them immediately to mind.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you want famous villains and chair. You've got Doctor
Stuck in chair.
Evil. Well, okay, you've got I don't know. You've got the Architect from the Matrix. You've got you got Mad Rock from Marvel.
Chair-faced
Story.
Chippendale.
He's not stuck in a chair.
His
His
face
face
Modok
is
is
a
a
chair.
chair. Yeah, no, I think no. Where does the chair end and where does the face begin? You can't tell me he's not stuck in that chair.
You know, he's asked ladies to sit on his face before, and they've taken it the wrong way.
Terrible, absolutely terrible.
The worst thing is, he's always got wood.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
The thing about most villains do their best work sitting in a chair. You've got Hans Landa from Inglourious Bastards. His whole scene takes place sitting in a chair.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You've got the Emperor from Star Wars. Barely leaves that chair.
He's old. Leave him be.
Oh,
We've
man.
also, of course, got the Emperor of Mankind, who also never leaves his chair.
That's true, yeah.
Arguably the biggest villain of all time.
Absolutely, absolutely. That does. I mean, like, all joking aside, like, have you guys read any of like the Solar Wars or Siege of Terror
I
books?
haven't. I was
I have
hoping to
not.
finish the Horus Heresy stuff before I got into it.
It seems like it's heading that way.
Interesting.
He's
Well, it always was going to go that
Right.
way. Like we know that at least in the current 40K setting, it's not a great place.
no, it is not, and it looks increasingly like he intended it to be this way. You know. He's a bad man, is the Emperor of Mankind.
Actually, I haven't been to siegeofterror.com before, and I'm just on the page, and I just love what they've done with the actual layout.
It's cool, isn't it? It is a very cool little website. And I've got to say, like, the Siege of Terror books are some of the better ones. Definitely. I mean, the general quality of the Siege of Terror books is excellent.
Also, gold is just a really nice color to have in a website. Let's be fair.
Yes, there's that too.
Not a colour
Great.
that
Now
you see often.
you've just given me a new job. Now I got to go rebuild the whole Cold Open Stories site. You know.
No. I mean, what I found
you're
with
welcome.
the Siege of Terror books is that they've really concentrated on trying to give you a sense of the scale of this war. It's insane how huge just the geographical scale of it is. Like, the Emperor's Palace consumes most of Earth. There's very little that is not underneath the Emperor's Palace in some way, shape, or form. And the forces, Horus's forces, are besieging every single part of it. It's like the whole world is seething with war.
Do keep in mind, like, the fact that that may also stem from the fact that we think that the world is a lot smaller now. Look at where each of us are living and conducting this call.
It's a fair point. It's very much a fair point.
So when you go back to a medieval scope where connectivity is not like that, things get scary and big. You know, the forests get bigger and darker. The oceans become larger when you don't have that connectivity. So when we're telling the story, it's also accentuated by the fact that, yeah, the Emperor's palace is a gigantic, like, mountain range of buildings. But
Yeah,
even before you get there, it's like, okay, well, we got to pass Luna. Like,
yeah, right.
it's just the scale's fantastic.
There
And
are all
also-
these orbital constructs
Yeah.
around it too, which are incredible. I mean, some of the books are set almost exclusively on these orbital constructs that surround Terra.
Some great world building.
Yeah,
Literally.
it really is. It really is. The sense of scale is pretty incredible, I've got to say. And they do a lot trying to... what they've done is taken some of the more questionable elements of that part of the story and turn them into basis for smaller stories. So, for example, why doesn't Horus just bomb Terra to bits? He has the fleet, he has the means. And they explicitly say this. He has the means of just destroying Terra. If he wants to, he could just bomb Terra to bits. The reason is, of course, it's not what the gods demand. They have a sense of the poetry of this situation. They need the one-on-one confrontation between father and son. It has to be that way.
Because it is emotional, because it is
Right.
driven by not these large logic, as humans are not dictated by logic.
Exactly.
Neither are
Exactly
the
that.
gods that are born of our emotions.
Exactly that. Exactly that. And also, I mean, there are lots of also interpersonal conflicts going down. So, of course, Perturabo, of course, wanted this from the very beginning. He wants the siege of Terra to happen because it's his ultimate purpose. It's his ultimate test. There are some great sequences where I think it's Abaddon is looking at Perturabo because Perturabo is coordinating the entire assault from this incredible machine which is like full of screens and it's feeding him information through all these conduits. And for the first time, he sees Perturabo happy. For the first time in his entire existence.
That's fun.
It's kind of cool, isn't it?
I'm trying to work out what a happy Perturabo looks like.
Perturabo, what he looks like. He's he looks like a big Terminator.
No, what he
No,
looks like when
specifically
happy.
him happy.
Oh, him
Yeah.
happy. Oh, you don't want to picture that. I mean, Perturabo smiling is probably quite disturbing to be.
Just picture a frown and just turn it upside down. That's what that is.
Yeah, but on Perturabo's face,
quite accurate.
it would be like a shark singing at you. It would just be unsettling. It's like, nope, that's
I mean, what is
unnatural.
fascinating is that Horus has become almost completely sidelined because he's so abstracted at this point. I mean, he is so saturated by the power of the Chaos Gods and by their intentions that he's almost become mythic in nature now. So he hardly occurs as a character. He's just referred to by by his underlings.
I was going to say, when's the last
But
time
that's
you
what
actually
happens
saw
when you get to
Horus?
characters that are legendary, right?
Right. I mean, what they're trying to do is establish that he is the sort of dark equivalent of the Emperor at this point.
I was actually going to ask, when's the last time we saw Horus in any of the stories? So I think it must have been a
The
while
last
now.
time was in a book called, I think it's called Wolfsbane. It's the one where the space wolves attempt to murder him. They actually invade Vengeful Spirit, and they attempt to assassinate him, and it goes dreadfully wrong. That was the last time, but they do end up wounding him. They do end up like quite.
They crack the
badly.
armor.
Yes,
Yeah.
they crack the armor, and I think that is definitely going to come into play a little later.
Yeah, that's kind of setting up for Sanguinus to be able to crack the armor further.
Yes, I mean Sanguinius is brilliant in the Siege of Terror books because I mean I've discussed this with Adam before, but he has precognition in a similar way to Conrad Kurtz, so he sees glimpses of potential futures, and he's seen his own death. He knows how he dies, and as a result of that, he's surrendered to a kind of fatalism, whereby he knows he can't die. He knows how he's supposed to die, so he does these incredibly crazy things where,
like punking a Warhound Titan or whatever. Like, what does that do to your confidence? Yeah,
that kind of thing. Like, there's a great sequence where there are lances, like orbital lances, just raining down these vast pillars of energy that are obliterating entire settlements, and he's just dancing in between them because he knows they can't hit him. He knows that he's not going to die.
It's interesting because it from a writing perspective, that doesn't give him an excuse to be reckless or to be like, I'm not going to sidestep this. It's kind of like, if every shot's going to miss, well, then that just means that fate has a larger control over the setting than the character. What it means is that the character has confidence and that they're able to sidestep and do those same things.
Well, what they've done is very cleverly, they've kind of contrasted him to Conrad Kurtz, because Conrad Kurtz has a similar ability or curse, if you like, but with Conrad Kurtz, he surrenders to it. He just becomes entirely fatalistic and sees the darkest of all potential futures, and believes that it will always come true. It will always come true. Whereas Sanguinius seems to be using it as a motivating factor rather than surrendering to it. It's just fascinating. I mean, even there are characters who have been a little bit sidelined throughout the course of the Horus Heresy, like Rogel Dawn. Rogel Dawn hasn't really done a great deal during the Horus Heresy books, to be perfectly honest. And when he has occurred, hasn't been that great. But in the Siege of Terror books, he's actually really interesting because he's coordinating the defense of Terror, of course, and he's got to rein in all of his slightly more wayward brothers, like Yagati Khan, for example. And it's really interesting. It is really fascinating. Meanwhile, you've got all of these other characters who have their own agendas doing weirdy, beardy stuff, like the Perpetuals. The Perpetuals are all converging on Terror for some reason. We don't know why.
I would like the Perpetual storyline to get wrapped up.
Me too.
It's one of those ones that irritates me in a weird way. It's like, what is the point of this other than to make Vulcan immortal?
Well, it seems as though the Perpetuals have a really powerful part to play. We don't know what it is, but they're certainly all converging on Terra. Actually, they're all on Terra now, at the current point in the story. Don't know what they're up to, though.
If they give us a shaman sacrifice 2.0 for the Emperor, so he doesn't die.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. It'd be fascinating.
Or my other thought is that, oh Christ, what's his name? I was going to say Garrow. Garrow's not a Perpetual.
John Grammaticus.
That's the one. I hate John Grammaticus so much. He irritates me in ways I can't quite put into words.
He features quite heavily in most of the Siege of Terror books.
I don't know what it is about him. There's something about. I think it's because his first name's John, and it really irritates the shit out of me that in the far-flung future, John. It's like, all right. Yeah, here is the Primarch Simon. I don't know. Something about him just irritates me. But
well, there is a Primarch called Conrad. I mean, that's a fairly
but I'm happy with that.
Standard name for a Primarch.
Yeah. Well, if you want to go to what are the oldest names that could possibly last that long, you may not know, dear listeners and audience, that Anita is one of the oldest names in human history.
Anita, right?
Anita, 17th century BCE.
Wow.
Back in the Anatolia, modern day Turkey.
I never knew that.
So I'm waiting for Anita to show up in. We had Amara Astarte. It should have just been Anita Astarte, and we would have been keeping with it. But
I'm just going to sit here knowing full well that my name is Adam and not say a word. So.
not one of the oldest names. Let's be fair. Judeo-Christians, Kushim would be older. like Ka would be older, like even Scorpion, an Egyptian name. It's where the word comes from. How cool though would it have been to have named your kid Scorpion or Spider? They would have done that back in Nekhen in Egypt, but now it's a little more frowned upon.
Well, now it also has sort of Mortal Kombat connotations now, which probably wouldn't go down too well.
That's why,
every single time my kid would misbehave, I'd be like, "Oh my God, finish him!
Get over here!
Get over it!"
Too.
Yeah. That's why my next son shall be named Sub-Zero. Good old-fashioned Jewish name. How's everyone in the chat doing?
Quickly googling like every Mortal Kombat character name to be like, which one would be the worst to name your child?
Which one would be the worst to name your child?
Striker would be
Meat.
the worst.
Oh, Meat. You win.
Ermac?
You know what?
Ermac's
No, it's
pretty
not even a
bad.
contest after that. You got it. Congratulations.
Never forget good old Meat from, what was it, Deadly Alliance?
Yeah, that was my first Mortal Kombat that I had like an actual object permanence of remembering characters.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know, right? Well, I remember Mortal Kombat 2, but it was Deadly Alliance was the one where I was like, Liu Kang is dead? Like, I just remember that very explicitly.
Liu Kang is dead.
God, what were those? We had Shang Tsung, and who was the other part of the Deadly Alliance? Quan Chi.
I
God.
like Quan Chi. He threw skulls at people. That's cool.
No.
People do. Great.
Yep.
What is it with Mortal Kombat and stupid noises? Yeah, it's,
The bizarre vocalizations.
Yeah.
I've got to say, I kind of like them.
I mean,
I would imagine it was just based on what the systems could handle at the time.
Yeah.
because
They actually
Bruce
had
Lee,
a
maybe.
they had a perfect MP3 file, but it just got corrupted when they were switching it to MIDI for the roster. And it just can't. It was like this really impressive like sound design, like, and I will take your soul. It's just like, God, it sounds like a Furby. What the hell have we done? Just put it in. We have to launch.
you went full Murloc there, and I'm very impressed.
No problem. Anytime.
As everyone knows, you should never go full Murloc. I'm going to have the Murloc song in
Noob
my head now.
Saibot, another bad name for a child.
Noob Saibot, I love it. Absolutely love it.
I'm trying to think who has them.
Nightwolf.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, Nightwolf, yeah.
No, that's the name the kid names himself in high school.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
actually
yeah,
his
right.
online handle, Nightwolf89.
You don't get it, Dad. My name's Nightwolf.
Jai, you've just blown my mind, because earlier on today I was trying to remember Ernie Mac's name, and you've just said Ernie Mac, and I've just remembered Ernie Mac, and yep, alright. Thank you for reminding me of who he is.
What's that, Bernie Mac?
Yes. Jai put Ernie Mac in, so Ermac, Ernie Mac, Bernie Mac, and now I remember his name. It's like, I was trying to remember, there was a comedian that died of pneumonia. We were having a conversation about how pneumonia is very dangerous, and I could not remember who it was who died of it, who was quite famous. And now I do. So, thank you, Jai. Cassia says if Gruff has a daughter, him and Abby could name her Nicole. No. I almost dated a lass in secondary school called Nicola, and we decided to break up because if we got married, her name would be Nicola Nickel. And
I love it.
yeah, that's a.
It was literally the only reason. It was a star-struck marriage. Otherwise, you were destined to be together. Only she wasn't called that.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Damn, son.
I got a delivery I got to go take care of, but it was a great chatting and hobby hanging out with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, Colin,
Thanks for coming
thank
by.
you. Thank you so much for coming on, and we will continue to extol the virtues of cold open stories because it's.
You're very kind, guys. No, thank you very much. Happy New Year to yourselves and to everyone watching as well.
Absolutely.
And I will look forward to the the high school reunion of Nicola, Nicholas.
Yes, the alternate reality.
Got to bring it up at the next reunion.
Yeah, the alternate reality where I married a lass called Nicola, and we had a son called Nikolai and Nicholas. Yes, that's not going to happen because alternate realities aren't real. Because if they are, if they are, I'm very sad that I'm in this one.
Have a good time in the multiverse, everybody.
See you later.
Take care, Colin.
Bye, man.
That was a very pleasant little...
Oh, that was lovely. That was
Surprise
fantastic.
gift.
Yeah.
Who else is going to turn up? Let's find out. Then we just bring Matt on. Matt. Sorry, that was...
Oh, Matt.
That was dismissive.
That was really harsh, and I apologise, even though I have called him a terrible, terrible person twice today.
So, so cool.
Well, he's a fan of Neon Genesis. He's allowed him
What, the
call-
Evangelion?
Yeah.
Ugh.
So as we all know,
God.
watching that series is akin to slamming your penis in the toilet seat. After about an
Yeah.
hour, it stops feeling bad. It doesn't feel good, but it doesn't feel as bad anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Mikey complain enough about Evangelion on Moonbase too, so
I was going to say, I love your complaints about Evangelion. I think it's hilarious.
It just makes me angry.
Absolutely.
Even
Yeah.
though it is a very pretty animated show, it's just poop.
None of my issues with it have anything to do with the animation. The animation is, for the
No.
most part, gorgeous. But, you know, it is fucking Kingdom Hearts with robots.
I don't know. I think Evangelion might be more comprehensive than Kingdom Hearts. Believe it or
I
not.
do, yes. I think that Evangelion actually is, I think, just marginally more understandable, comprehensible than Kingdom Hearts is.
Not by a lot, but a little bit at the very least.
because at least Evangelion has like some anchorage in like real world mythology and symbolism. You can actually go to like the schools of thought and say, oh, so this is a school of thought that exists. It might be incoherent in Evangelion, but it is a school of thought that exists. Whereas Kingdom Hearts is just...
What's happening? Help me! What's a Xehanort? Should I be
What
scared?
are you talking about? Why do you keep
why are
saying
there so many
those
Xehanorts?
words?
Is there time travel? What's Mickey
What?
Mouse doing here?
It's the words that keep coming up, the terms that keep coming up. What do you mean when you keep saying Kingdom Hearts as a term? What does that mean?
What do you mean you don't know? Have you not been playing the mobile games, the mobile game tie-ins? No.
I just
No,
want
I
to point out
haven't.
I want to point out two things from the chat here which have made me highly amused. The first one, well actually there's three here. One is Matty saying that we're all mean, and I apologise, Matt.
It's true.
As much as you are an eldritch abomination upon reality, you're lovely with it, so that's okay.
So hang on, you know, you've got a problem with him being an eldritch abomination upon reality, but not me.
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't say I've got a problem with you as much as fear. Fear that eventually you will decide that you've had enough cake and the world shall end.
Well, you know, when it comes to cake, that's fine. There'll never be enough cake.
I also, Cassius says, alternate realities aren't real in this reality. Which, which I think is the best thing I've heard in a long
That's
time.
a very good answer. That's a very good answer, I've got to say.
And who was it who said it? I think. Sorry, the chat. It's very difficult to actually keep the chat moving when I'm trying to move it around.
When you're busy,
Here we go.
yeah, when you're multitasking, yeah?
Nick says, don't remember a choking a comatose girl whilst wanking scene in Kingdom Hearts. Well, obviously you haven't played the same version that I did, because I saw Goofy. I saw Goofy go to completion.
It exists somewhere out there on the
Uh-huh.
internet.
Uh-huh.
I haven't
Indeed,
found it in
yeah.
my life.
Yeah, don't forget, Goofy doesn't make love, Goofy fucks.
God.
You're welcome.
Well. Am I welcome? Am I? I don't know.
You're the only person who can answer that. Right, I'm just grabbing
At
my...
this point, do you want to be? That's the question. At this point,
Yeah.
do you want to be?
I'm just having a look inside my big box of orcs, seeing what else needs a quick paint. I've got loads in here that needs painted. It's annoying. We've got...
You know what you need to do? Some clan rats.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
No.
Small clan rats.
No, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait to see what happens. Although here's something cool. Original Skarsnik. Don't know how.
Hey!
Don't know how well. you
Oh,
can
the
say that.
original one. My
Yeah.
God.
It's a bit blurry.
From many moons ago.
Indeed.
Oh, did you guys see the new Chaos Chosen? By the way,
Mm-hmm.
they're all right, aren't they? Did you see the one that's based on this guy? It's based on Cranon.
I did.
Oh, I
horns and
heard
everything.
people talk about it, but I didn't know it was based off him specifically.
Yeah, it's basically him, but
Okay.
just marginally different, you know. I think it's meant to be more of the aspiring champion of the set rather than a Chaos Lord. It's not quite as elaborate as he is, but yeah, it's got the horns, it's got the bestial face, it's got the cloak. It's pretty much him.
I can't actually get my troll giant into frame. He's too big.
That's what she said.
Yeah, I was waiting for it.
Someone had to.
That's about as good as I can get him into frame. There we go. Right. I'm sure.
What's it called? Ogroids or something?
Yeah, something like that. Oh wow.
He's a big fella. So I took the Mega Gargant, or as I like to call them, Megargants.
Oh, that's it.
And,
Mega Gargans.
turned him into a troll. I've actually got a load of trolls. So I've always had a real love of trolls. I think trolls are great.
Oh,
Don't troll
Zigvold,
that troll.
Zigvold doesn't like trolls.
Is it because they're
Zigvold
ugly?
no, Zigvold's got a big problem with trolls.
Alright.
It's because one of them murdered him and ate him.
Oh, well, that
Yeah.
sucks. Yeah, I'd hold a grudge as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Apparently, one of the first things he did when he was resurrected by Slanesh was lead a kind of genocidal war across the realms against Troggoths.
And I'm sure the realms wept for the Troggoth
I'm
massacres.
sure they did.
No, stop. We need to stop him. He's a monster.
Oh no, please. Oh, wait, no, come back, stop.
Don't kill the peaceful Troggoth.
But I also imagine it's because they're ugly and they offended him. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably true too.
Well, he's meant to be a very, petty person, isn't he? Especially being for
he's-
Slanesh.
He's the personification of narcissism
Yeah.
and of vainglory. So yeah, anything that he considers to be like offensive in his sight will be just put to the sword. It'll be obliterated, you know. But he's also like that is like his divinity as well. That's what he's meant to personify. And he's been like imbued with the power of that particular aspect of Slanesh. It's really weird. So he is like the avatar of narcissism.
Sounds like a lot of work.
It's really cool. I mean, I never liked him. You know when he first came about back in like, I think he came about in. It was one of the later
Sixth.
editions of Fantasy Battle.
6 or 7.
Didn't like him. Didn't like the miniature. Didn't like the way he operated. Thought he was really silly. To represent his narcissism, you know, he was subject to the rules for stupidity. Yeah. But man, the resurrection of him is gorgeous because they've mythologized him. That's what I like. They've made him like the avatar of that particular aspect of Slanesh, which makes him a million times more interesting.
I'm probably not giving him rules to nerf him, I guess.
Oh yeah, well have you seen his rules? He's a meat grinder. You just chuck him at things. That's all you do, and he just rips them to shreds. He's got this really cool special rule, which is called the Avatar of Vainglory or something like that, which basically means, you know, when you roll your charge roll in AOS and you roll 2 dice to see what your charge roll is, basically he gets either 5 attacks with Shard Slash, his sword, or he gets the number of attacks that are his charge roll if it's higher than 5.
Oh, okay.
So he can potentially do 12 attacks. That can't be negated, like the wounds inflicted by it can't be negated. That's the special rule for Shard Slash's sword. You know how you've got negation rolls after your armor saves? They can't be negated.
Jeez Louise.
So he can actually do. He can't. He's nowhere near any of the god tier characters, but you could do damage to them with him.
He sounds like
You
the
could
type
actually
of guy
weaken them.
you could send him in with a bit of a backup, and you could do some serious. You could take Nagash out if you have him and the Bliss Barbs.
Well, you know how you do it. if you wanted to take Nagash out with him, you'd put a Keeper of Secrets near to him, and then use the Keeper of Secrets command ability on him, because that enables him to fight twice. Then he could do it.
Right, okay.
Then he could do it. Potentially. But yeah, I mean, I'm loving the new AOS battle tomes. They're really good.
They are. I've got the Auric one.
I've got them all at the moment. I've got every single one of them that's been released. The Maggotkin of Nurgle one is
something
out
special.
of this world. Yeah, it is out of this world. If that's how Chaos is going to be in AOS,
Bring it on. Yeah.
you know, can't wait. Cannot wait. I'm imagining they're going to do the Blades of Corn and the others quite quickly, because they don't really need to do anything with them. You know, they don't really need to release any miniatures for many of them, to be honest. Maybe a character for some of them.
I can imagine a character coming out.
Yeah, I can maybe see a character or something like that, but nothing, you know.
Yeah,
nothing that amazing. Their miniatures ranges are full. And obviously the one I'll be waiting for is the Hedonites, because having put him together, I'm going to be doing a Hedonites army, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because I just can't wait. I cannot wait. They are such a cool army.
Out of interest.
That's everything I want from Slaanesh, you know?
Out of interest, what's everybody in the chat working on tonight?
Yeah, what are you guys doing?
And yes, I have seen the entire seasons thing that got announced today. I'm in two minds about it, Nick. That on one hand, it feels a little too DLC-y, and I don't know how I feel about it. But on the other hand, it is not that different to what they've already been doing. They've just put a name to it.
I was going to say, they've just repackaged it, haven't they? I mean,
Yeah.
that's what they've been doing anyway. So, I mean, it's interesting that we're going back to Vigilus. What's that about?
Yeah, I mean, Vigilus was such a damp squib in the end.
Yeah, I think maybe what they should do is, like, not retcon it, but do something more with it this time.
Yeah.
If they're going to do it, blow it up, you know, just do it. Just push the button, you know?
If you're going to go back to Vigilus, make it worthwhile. Make Vigilus into something.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of effort over
Not very
nothing.
much, really.
Yeah, well, over nothing.
Yeah.
It was. I understand what they were trying to do, but it just didn't.
Yeah,
did not fly.
but one of the problems was they were trying to set up like another Cadia, weren't they?
Yes,
really?
that's exactly what it was.
You've already had that.
Mm-hmm.
So do something with it, you know?
Yeah, make it into something. Make it.
Make Vigilus into something. Like do the whole Abaddon thing. Maybe he's coming at it for a reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
Beyond what seems obvious. Maybe there's something else to it. Maybe it's not just the the entrance to the Nachmund Gauntlet, which leads to Imperial Nihilus. Maybe there's something else going on there.
Well,
that would fit. That would fit with Abaddon's, nature and whatnot.
They made this great big thing about there being something out in the desert. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and we were going, is that where Fulgrim is? Because that's what we do. That's what we do constantly. We just sit around and go.
We just sit around and moon about Fulgrim.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what we do, isn't it? Yeah.
Where is Fulgrim? Where is Fulgrim?
Looks like we're going to be waiting a little while, though, Adam, because it looks like Angron's coming first.
Yeah, Angron's coming first, and I want him to be the shortest miniature you've ever seen. I want him to be halfling-sized.
That ain't going to happen.
And by that, I mean Lord of the Rings halfling. I want it to be in that scale. I want it to be the smallest thing in the world, but it's got like a massive...
Angron is friggin' huge.
Nope. Refuse to believe that. He's tiny.
No, Angron's massive.
I don't know where you
Do
get
you
your
think they'd make
information.
him bigger than Magnus, miniature-wise?
No, because Magnus is the tallest of the Primarchs. He always was, and he is bigger. I mean, like, Magnus was always physically the biggest Primarch. Angron is like... I imagine what they're going to do with Angron, they'll make him broader. He'll be the way he manifests in his demonic form, he's hunched over anyway. He's sort of hunched over, almost gangrel looking. So he'll probably be swarthier, he'll be bigger, he'll be wider, broader, much more muscled than Magnus is.
Mm.
Which, considering how muscled Magnus actually is, that's
exactly.
impressive,
It should give you some impression of what Angron's going to be like, While the artwork of him is incredible, you know,
Mhm.
in his demonic form, he looks fantastic. So can't wait to see what he looks like. In the artwork, he's got like his, you know, the butcher's nails,
Yeah.
the machine that's in his head driving him mad. It's all coming out the back of his demonic head like a mane,
That's
like
cool.
a mane of wires that burrow into his back and are whipping around, and he's got horns coming out. He looks just fantastic.
No, I want him to be short. I want him to be tiny. I'm not. I'm not going to be happy.
Well, there was the epic miniature. That was tiny.
Exactly. There we go.
That's true.
Just re-release the epic miniature. Say that that's what he looks like in 40k, and I'm happy. I'll be pleased with that.
It was a bit boring, though. You know, it was a little bit boring, to be honest. The epic miniature. It just looked like a demon, like an
Yeah,
archetypal demon. You know.
Well, the Magnus one wasn't great either, to be fair.
Well, to be 100%
How
fair,
dare you.
none of them were they?
Oh,
This
dear.
little furry boy with one eye.
It's true. It's true.
And I've got an eBay search for him. So if one of it turns up for a decent price, I'll be buying him and using him in
I used
my
to have him.
army of
I
familiars.
used to have all the demon Primarchs, like all the epic ones,
Mhm.
once upon a time, many moons ago. I used to have them all.
Was it because it was the only way to get them, effectively?
Well, no, I used to have an epic army. I used to
Oh,
collect way back when it was called Space Marine.
Yep.
Still,
Yep. Jesus Christ.
I had two. I had a Chaos army and I had an Eldar army.
I have never known this fact. Never knew that you had an epic army.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Way back in the day. Yeah. It was one of the first games I played, like proper tabletop games from Games Workshop. It was one of the first I ever actually sat down and had a game of with a friend of mine. It was bloody complicated.
Yes, it was. It's one of the reasons I never go away with it. Is it was far too complicated.
It took us, like, I remember my friend and I, we were only young at the time. We were only like maybe probably not even double digits. We were still at junior school when we sat down and tried to play this damn game, and it took us a long time,
I can imagine.
like trying to figure out things like what part of the Titans you're hitting with your long range weapons, and you
Sounds
know
very Mech Warrior, actually.
how the void shield system works and whatnot. It was very tricky.
I think if memory serves me right, the way that you answer the question, how did the void shield system works? The answer is they didn't. They were far too convoluted for their own good. But I mean, a lot of Space Marine was built on the Titan Legions game, and Titan Legions
Yes, it was.
No, not Titan Legion. Titanicus.
Adeptus Titanicus, that's right.
And that was built on a lot of the Rogue Trader stuff. But also it was built on some of the more complicated Rogue Trader stuff. So you had a lot of like the robot rules and things.
There were some really strange rules in Epic back then. Like the way Chaos armies were structured was really bizarre. They were all built around the Greater Demons or the Demon Primarchs. So you had to take a Greater Demon or a Demon Primarch as your general. You had no choice in the matter. It had to be one of them. And all of the other units had to be issued commands from them.
That's right, yep.
Very peculiar indeed. You didn't have a choice in the matter. Like there were no Chaos Lords or anything like that.
No, it all had to be from this, you say
Like
a
this
Primarch,
linchpin of the army.
which
It was very unusual because they gave massive buffs to the army whilst they were still alive. So if they were still around, the army was fearless, like it was immune to morale, which was a big deal back then in Space Marine. That was a very big deal. But if they died, the army fell apart, like it completely disintegrated.
It sounds like a proto-Tyranid Synapse army idea.
Pretty much, yeah. So, like, what would happen if your Greater Demon was slain? Your mortal units would run away. The whole army would have to take like morale checks to see if it ran away, and your demons they would basically flicker out of existence. What was holding them in reality was suddenly gone, right? So they would start flickering out of existence. It was really, really strange.
One of the weird parts about that is that when Space Marine became Titan Legion. Was it Titan Legions it became? It's hard to remember.
No, it was Titan. It was Adeptus Titanicus. Then
Yeah.
it was Epic Space Marine.
No, it just
Then
became Epic. Yeah, that's right.
It became Epic. Then it became Epic 40,000.
Yes.
At the end of its life, it became Epic 40,000.
So when you look at Epic 40,000, which is where the best Titan in the world comes from, because that thing is
Yes,
insane.
yeah,
Imperiata.
yeah.
That thing was just ridiculous. And the Mega Gargant. Wait a second. I've just realised Mega Gargant. And that's what they've got the thing in AOS there now called Mega Gargant. Hang on.
Yeah,
a second.
right. So weird, right?
I'm annoyed that I've just already realised that. The way that Chaos Armies worked was basically how the Tyranid armies worked in Epic. It's this really weird thing of everything is all hinged on these linchpin parts of the army, which is
Very
the beginning,
unusual.
Yeah, which is the beginning of the Synapse creatures.
Yeah, because very few other armies did that. Like the Imperial armies didn't do that.
No.
You didn't. You had commanders, and the way those games worked was very different from Warhammer 40,000. Like you had to issue commands, right?
Yes.
You had to have commanders on the battlefield, and you had a limited number of commands that you could issue to the other units. And they could do a limited number of things, like they could move, they could fight, they could go onto Overwatch or whatever. Certain units are immune to that, like they could move of their own accord, like Titans could move of their own accord, and because they were operating on a different scale of war. It was phenomenally difficult to play.
Just see that there's some people experiencing signal drops there. If,
No,
people-
I'm all right. I'm okay here.
If people in the chat can just let me know if you're seeing signal drops.
Everything okay, chat?
Now, I realise that what I'm doing, because I'm painting on white here, everything's very washed out. So I apologise for that. It's just because I'm painting on white.
I'm painting this dude. It's Fabulous Bill.
Good old Fabulous
Hey,
Bill.
did you finish your Lord?
He's not finished. I've just base coated a few bits, so he's got.
Okay.
I've just done his cloak in black, so I can do it like a nice sort of hideous purple, and I've just done the base bone color for his horns. He's nearly done, actually. He hasn't got much to go.
Hello, Mr. White.
Nearly done.
Thank you for that one. just Mr. White, to say we're all good, just chatting away and ignoring you three.
That's fine. I'd be doing the same, quite frankly.
This is the.
I've jerry-rigged a painting thing up, so I've got some goblins painting at the moment.
Oh, nice.
Painting some gobbo skin.
Sweet. The little.
Moot green. I like moot green.
I've actually
I mean, this
taken
this
to.
is such a cool miniature. Fabulous Bill. It's so good.
I've taken to the auric flesh as a base point for.
Is that the contrast color?
Nope, no, it's just a normal one. I'm going to go over it with the contrast later on to ink it.
I hear like the thing to do that some people do is Plague Bearer contrast paint or something, and then Biltan wash or something like that. That's the that's the go-to for
That's
some people now.
the done thing, is it?
The meta, if you would. The painting meta.
The painting meta. I
The
like
painting
that.
meta, yeah.
I kind of like that.
I like the cartoony look of moot green because it's nice and very, very bright.
I mean, that works perfectly.
Yeah,
with goblins.
I really liked Epic when the Tyranids turned up. The Tyranids in like the Epic game system were brilliant. That was in the one. I think that was when you had the Titanicus add-on, where you had like the Imperator Titan and the big Mega Gargants. That was awesome. That was fantastic. There was some brilliant battle reports in White Dwarf back then for Epic.
Sorry, just.
I don't. I
Finish
think
going.
if they did it like as a limited game, I mean, they kind of did it with the Titanicus system, didn't they? They did,
It's
that's
just boring at the moment though because it's just the Titans. They haven't done
Right,
anything else.
right.
Like at least
in
do
all-
the orcs for it.
right. It needs something else, doesn't it, to give it contrast, right?
Yeah, do they even have like proper chaos ones, or is it just like
No,
it's just
I mean,
renegades, isn't it?
There's rules in White Dwarf for the Chaos ones, but that's it. That's it.
Boring.
the epic nids were amazing. The Tyranids were absolutely brilliant. Does anyone remember the Dominatrix?
Yep.
Which
Oh,
was
yeah.
the Tyranid Hive Queen from back then.
Yep, I remember that thing.
She was awesome.
There was a scratch-built one at Warhammer World, and it is
Yes.
incredible.
For Warhammer 40,000,
Yeah,
right?
Yep. Which, of course, they've changed the name to Norn Queen. Because
Of course. Well, they couldn't keep calling it the Dominatrix.
No, which is a real shame.
It's too Slaneshi.
Exactly.
If something's called the Dominatrix, it's got to be either Drukhari or Slanesh. It can't be anything else.
Speaking of Drukhari, actually,
Mm-hmm.
Mr.
They're
George,
still up there, aren't they?
Mr. George, did you, by any chance, put a pre-order in for the 3rd edition Drukhari?
Why is that a thing? Why did that come out?
I think it's...
Did they just find stock?
What
No,
are we
yeah,
oh,
made to
that.
order.
No, they're made to order.
What?
That
Who
was
wants
the
that?
very, that
Weird.
was the very first like edition of 40k I bought as a box set.
Was it?
I had it for Christmas one year. Yeah, I had it for Christmas one year. So I might, I don't know whether I'm going to get it or not, but it does tick the nostalgia boxes, I've got to say.
Can you get those like sprues and those figures cheaper just going onto eBay though?
You
Like what
probably-
bonus do you get from getting it from GW?
You probably could, yes.
Because I don't
won't
think I've
lie.
heard anything good, particularly good about the Dark Elder from that time period. Like the model.
No, they suck. No, they suck. You're absolutely right. They suck. They're not very
Yeah.
good. Drukhari were not. That was when they were originally released.
Yeah, with that tiny book. The only book that was smaller than theirs was the Necron one at the time, if I remember.
They were crap. They were just not very good. That's absolutely true.
So strange that this set has came out.
It is.
I think,
Right.
anyway. I think
Weird
it's
one,
very
isn't it?
odd.
I think...
Yeah, like if it came with the rules and it came with the artwork and it came with the original stuff, maybe not the entire box set, but at least a bit more, I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, I could see why you're doing
you'd
that.
sort
but
of get it, yeah?
yeah, it's just the models, and the models by today's standards, they're not great.
Well, by the standards of back then, they were not that great. Right?
The
Like
Marines
if you said to
were.
me, here's a re-release of Second Ed, and or like he's like the Second Ed, because you can't get those kind of orcs anymore at all. There's
Yeah,
nothing
right,
like
right.
them. I'd be like, yeah, okay, I could see that. Like
Yeah.
sees the first edition of Tyranids, I'd be like, oh, okay, sure. Screamer Killers and all that jazz. Yeah, I could see that. That makes sense. A lot of these things that were in metal or were in resin could now be done in plastic. Cool. But I think all those kits in that box were originally plastic anyway,
They
weren't
were,
they?
yeah.
I
They
think,
were.
No, they were, right? Even the
Yeah,
last
every
Vader.
single one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It absolutely was.
Weird.
Yes.
Such a strange choice.
I think they just wanted to do something fun and silly.
Yeah, I think it is just a silly release, to be honest. I
Yeah.
mean, those Drukhari are not. They were never that great.
But
Nobody
it's still
really
the choice of like it still feels like to me it still feels like they found a box of something in a warehouse and went, oh, should we sell these? And went, yeah, all right.
I
Why not?
wonder.
We'll shove it out there.
I wonder if it's a test bed that they're trying to find out
Okay.
if they can convert old miniatures that they've got into new STL files.
Oh no. Let's make some NFTs as well. Why not?
Why not?
It's different,
no,
of course. But,
Oh, an STL file is what you use to print. So I was wondering if maybe they were trying to see. It'd be interesting to see what people get, how the sprues look. If the sprues are the same, which they can't be, because the sprues also came with scenery on them, so these ones can't be the same as the ones that originally were produced.
Oh yeah, they did. God, I'd forgotten about that.
So it's
Wouldn't
Jesus.
it just be the sprues that they use for the individual box releases? Do you not think?
Yeah, that's probably it.
yeah, that would make more fun.
That's almost certainly it, to be honest.
Well, you've scuppered that idea. Oh well.
That's what I'm here for. I'm here to shatter dreams.
Because I was wondering if
The
maybe
cold hammer of reality.
that's what I call you, Mandy, the cold hammer.
The cold hammer, yeah.
I mean, I was wondering if maybe they were going to start doing something like this on a regular basis. You know, maybe like RTB01 out.
Oh my god. Well, they kind of already almost did that, didn't they?
Did they?
Yeah, sort of. Well, you got one of the RTB01 Marines updated,
True. Yeah.
you know?
I mean, it.
I mean, that's when George put his message up on Twitter. I replied to him and said, you know what would have been like cool, like a better idea, like if they'd re-released second edition Space Hulk, Battlefleet Gothic Armada, the original Blood Bowl, the original Necromunda from the 90s.
God,
any of those kind of even what was it called? Battlefleet, the boat one.
Man of War.
Man of War.
Man of War, yeah.
Jesus.
If they just re-released that set and not really even changed anything about it, I think that those would sell. I think those would definitely sell. At the very least, for people who want to get those original editions, they could get that, and they wouldn't need to complete old boxes because of new parts.
Yeah.
That's
My
the thing.
God, Man
if
of
you
War.
release Man of War now, you don't have to make the box or anything for it. You just put everything into the complete white Games Workshop mail order packaging. So that's,
No, you want the box though.
yeah, but that's going to
What
cost
with
more.
the
The Wayne England gorgeous art, yes.
that
Don't
wonderful sort of plague warrior on the front.
you see, that's
awesome.
That's from Plague War, and that is one of my favourite bits of Games Workshop art ever.
It's half the fun getting the box with the
gorgeous.
artwork on. The only way it would be like disappointing is if they revamped it and had somebody else try and imitate the artwork, kind of like what they did with Hero Quest, and you go, oh, this is. I mean, I see what you're doing, but no.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Let's.
No, just give me
Can
the
we not
original.
talk about Hero Quest?
Oh dear. That was very earnest, Adam.
It's one of those things where I keep going to myself, I should really get it because it's Hero Quest, but then I look at it and go, but I just don't like it.
Wait for Bardic's video on it whenever he's going to poop that
Oh
out.
yeah, that could be amusing.
I mean, it's not that it looks bad. 'Cause I'm going to put that out there. It doesn't look bad. It's just not my aesthetic at all.
It's not your thing, right?
No, not even slightly. It's too American. It's Pathfinder, too D&D for my liking. Yeah,
Take that, Americans.
It's too
Stupid,
archy.
stupid visual aesthetics.
It's too archy comics for my liking. Yeah.
Adam, official word from the Fluff and Hammer, looks like garbage. This may have been taken out of context, but you'll never know unless you watch the video.
Looks like it was drawn by somebody wearing fucking pantaloons.
Oh my god, that's the worst thing that
Wow.
Gruff could say to someone.
Wow, we're getting
That's
into
with
almost
Venom.
like slur territory here.
I know, Jesus Christ.
Jesus, wow.
Wow. Tell us how you really feel.
What's that? Looks nervously over his shoulder at some very, very old game books as Andy tots off names. Right, so
Coming for him.
my orc baller is pretty much dry, so let's start getting some skin onto him.
I do like my skin.
Yeah, I've heard that about you, Andy.
Well,
It's,
I like other people's skin, that's a lie.
That's right, so does Fabius. He likes to wear it.
it's a Saturday night and Fabius needs some new skin. Oh my god, right. Headcanon, Fabius Bile sounds like Vincent Price.
Well, yeah, that kind of
Yeah.
fits. I could go for that. That kind of fits, to be honest.
Better than Buffalo Bill.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, we don't want that.
No.
On a Friday night, what's Fabius do? Takes his armor, tucks, has a little dance. Looks to himself in the mirror. As you do.
Yeah, I mean, like if he's anything like he is in the books, you really don't want that. He is not in the best shape for a space marine. Let's put it that way.
No.
Oh, well, you know, he's fairly old, you know. He's not like a warrior.
No, he's not.
Stuff to do.
He's in the books. He's very, very ill.
Oh.
Very ill indeed. In fact, this is not like, I mean, spoilers, but in the books he's like he like has, this is not the original Fabius Bile. He has like clone bodies that he transplants himself into.
Aye, on the
Should make a good one.
It's really cool, isn't it? I mean, that sequence, Adam, the one that you like, where it reveals that the Chirigen on his back is a living thing,
Yep.
and it like disconnects from him and goes scuttering around his ship.
He goes off
It's
to get
so
some,
cool.
He goes off to get some good loving. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
it's so cool.
A little bit freaky, but I can't help but love it.
Don't mess this up. Painting teeth.
The sound you can hear is the sound of the inner monologue that I hear every day of my life.
Do painting teeth.
No, da.
What do you do with your son every day?
I paint his teeth. Isn't that obvious?
Oh, well, fair enough. Yeah.
Who have we got left to update in terms of the Chaos characters? Now, there's only Lucius the Eternal, isn't there?
Erebus?
I mean, in terms of like the miniatures that already exist, there's Lucius and there's I suppose Huron Blackheart, the Tyrant of Badab.
He got a new model.
He got a model way back in 4th Ed. It was
he got the one with the spear. The one that came out around Shadow's spear.
No, that's Harkon Worldclaimer.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
They sounded the same to me.
Right, Huron Blackheart, the Tyrant of Badab.
The Red Corsairs dude, right?
That's right. That's
okay,
right.
Yeah.
He, I mean, his model's really good, actually. I really like his model. It's one of the only things I like that came out of that era of Chaos, to be perfectly honest. But I imagine he will get updated at some point.
Isn't he meant to be like, if Abaddon fails, we go to this guy?
Kind of, yeah. He's, I mean, he is like much younger, obviously, because he's a renegade lord. He comes from like centuries later, but he's so charismatic and so good at what he does that he's kind of become almost like one of the big preeminent powers in the Chaos Forces. So yeah, he's pretty he's pretty good.
He's also the star of one of my favourite short stories from the old Inferno days. Now, Now, I don't know if you guys remember it. I actually did a reading of it at one point for the YouTube channel. Which, by the way, if you enjoy the readings, I'm going to be putting together some anthologies, which I'll be streaming over Twitch in the new year. So, if you like stories, stay tuned. But what Huron does to somebody who he classifies as a rebel, a renegade to his mission, to his plans, is he sticks him in a dreadnought, and then shuts down all of the non-essentials for the dreadnought. So the dreadnought keeps this guy alive forever, but there's no limbs attached, there's no outer sensors attached, there's no audio receptors attached. He's just in a box in the dark being kept alive forever.
Well, that kind of fits with like the Chaos mythology of dreadnoughts. They don't like it at the best of times, do they?
No. But, there's something about that story that always sits with me, and it really freaks me the fuck out.
Well, the guy in the dreadnought can't say that.
Well, no, he's too busy screaming forever.
I was going to say, he's like, he's just done.
Yeah, there's not much left of him, unfortunately. There's a little bit of madness, and that's about it.
Could be worse. Could be stuck on with E4 in there as well with him or something. Repeat of the Big Bang Theory on every day.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So
it's not all bad, really.
There are some things worse than death. The Big Bang Theory is one of those things.
And Hollyoaks.
I'd say Big Bang Theory is worse than Hollyoaks.
Oh, mate, I don't know.
I mean, this is from somebody who hasn't seen Hollyoaks in, what, how long has it been on TV now? 20 years, 30 years?
Too long.
Mm-hmm. God, Hollyoaks will be
I'd say
30 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's the cool, hip version of Coronation Street, and by cool and hip, I mean lame and sucky.
I mean that we use words. People have sex.
Da.
Not always English words.
Da. What paints do I have on me? I have browns. I guess I'll do your belt, or attempt to do your belt.
Cassia says, what about Made in Chelsea?
Oh, that's pretty shitty as well. That's a good call, man. Oh, you know what I love to see? I love to see rich people complain about how hard their lives are. Oof. Nothing worse than that. Sorry, nothing more sympathetic than that. Oh, come on now. I can't believe that Chad is going out with Stacy again. Oh my god. But I love Chad. No, it can't be like that. You need to move on with your life. But I have nothing without him. You're rich. You're a millionaire. Shut up. Get over yourself.
Jesus Christ.
You have zero problems in life.
Oh man, I completely agree. I mean, like the old trot at the barricades really does rise up.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure it's one of those loosely scripted shows.
Yeah,
but I don't understand the attraction of it. Like watching really rich people complain about being really rich.
Yeah, complain about their lives. It's like,
the only way,
thank you.
the only way is Essex. A visual curse has no better definition. Adam White worked on a Channel 5 soap called Family Affairs. I remember Family Affairs.
I remember that.
I remember it in the way that I remember it was terrible and everyone said it was terrible.
I remember Family Affairs vaguely, and I don't know why, I just do.
I think it's because for a hot minute it was everywhere as being the worst thing on TV.
Wow, what a legacy.
Yeah, people forget that El Dorado existed.
I was going to say, El Dorado surely is like right up there as one of the worst things that's ever happened on British television.
I think worse things have happened on British television, but as soaps go, it's probably the worst. I mean, you know, I was going to make a couple of jokes there, then I realised that even for me there would be some real bad taste in that, so I'm going to leave them alone.
I love it.
Yeah.
Why is your belt so thin, Goblin? Why is it so small?
Because, Andy, goblins, they hate you.
The belts are so tight, I'm going to have to go back over a lot of this with black. Stupid, tiny, sexy belt.
I do think that the goblins in AOS are one of my favourite things ever.
It's a shame they didn't get more new models, because this warband from Underworlds is really good.
I just wish that the troops got new models. Because
they're the oldest things.
Yeah, those basic line troops are just looking so...
They look really tired in comparison to the rest of the Wraiths, don't they? They really do.
But I don't think they ever looked good, in all honesty. You compare them to like the 90s led Night Goblins, and they just lack any form of character.
Yeah.
And
they were like the very basic. I mean, they're very old now, aren't they? And they're the very basic sort of rank and file plastic miniatures, you know, that were never really that good and were never meant to be that good.
It's just it's a shame that they're still there, because they
it is. It really is.
So old now and so tired.
You compare them to certain other ranges, like the Khorne, the Blades of Khorne, where they've got all of their troops represented by new and lovely miniatures, right?
Mm-hmm. But even you sort of put them up against something like the Skaven clan rats. They look old as well. Once again, same problem. They look too uniform. I like chaotic hordes. One of the reasons I don't like doing horde armies anymore is because everything looks exactly the fucking same. And it drives me insane.
Right.
And when you've got something like AOS, it's not so bad with old regiment-based fantasy battle because they're all in ranks. Yeah. But when you have them in the round bases and they're all uniform and they're meant to be a big sprawling mass, it just doesn't work, does it? It doesn't for me at all. And this is all obviously my personal opinion and whatnot. But because of that, I find it very hard to want to do things like the Skaven army. Which, considering how much I love Skaven, that's a bit of an annoyance. And same with the Night Goblins.
I'm very surprised, to be honest, that the Skaven have never had like the really big AOS treatment, where they've been massively reimagined and their aesthetic has been like updated and all that.
Yeah, because in the background you've got things like the Plague engines and not Plague engine, what are they called? The Parasite engines. These big, massive things that are just wandering around and sucking all the goodness and life out of places.
Well, that is the weird thing, isn't it? The background has been updated.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they are the chaos power of entropy now. You know, that's what they are.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I told you about like the stuff in the new Maggotkin book, didn't I? Where it talks about how like the Vermin Lord Corruptors are actually the rats in the Manse of Nurgle. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant, isn't it?
I really love that. Uh-oh, I've dropped a paint.
as a concept, I adore that.
It is. It's really cool, and I just kind of wish that things got done with them. It's
Yeah.
It's the same with the basic
They
chaos,
need
though.
they definitely need it. They definitely need a little bit more of an oomph going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess the problem is that usually when new stuff is done, like for a box set, it has to have the Stormcast.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you could have had the introduction to the Cruel Boys. All right, fine. Should we have like updated the other armies before introducing basically almost like a secondary replacement to the Orcs? Yeah, probably.
Yes, probably.
Probably. But they didn't want to do that, and
Yeah.
instead we'll go for even more Stormcasts.
Right.
Okay.
Right, is it just me, or do the Cruel Boys feel like an unfinished army?
I mean, this is AOS, Adam. How many unfinished armies are there?
Very true. That's a very, very...
They're quite a few, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Sadly so.
That is
Poor
very good
dwarves.
point. Yeah.
Oh yes.
Poor
Although
dwarves.
it does look like they're getting a little bit of love.
Well, they're getting one new miniature. It doesn't look like they're getting a range update, but
No.
hopefully the rules will make them a little bit more exciting. I
Let's
suppose.
hope so, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the point,
Because
actually.
they kind of need it, don't they?
How's everyone feeling about wet versus naked?
Well, it's nice. I mean, it is nice to see some of these armies getting a little bit more of attention.
Mm-hmm.
There's that.
You basically get the entire Fire Dwarf range in that one box.
Pretty much.
You're only missing a few things. It's weird. It's nice to see the Ideneth Deep King get something, because again, it's a really neat idea, which again, it doesn't seem like they've done too much with.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I like the Ideneth a lot. I hope they really do a proper update of them relatively soon.
I don't know. I mean, the weird thing is, though, they still feel like a really recent army, but they're actually a good few years old now, aren't they?
Yeah, right.
And they're going to be like, well,
I kind of wish they'd gone a little less fish people and gone more pirate. Then again, it's because I really like the Vampire Coast and Total War Warhammer. They're so good in that.
It's very likely that when the Umbraneth come out, they'll be pirates, because there's a lot of pirate imagery with what we've seen of them thus far.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of piratical stuff in like Ulgu, the Realm of Shadow.
See, I was going to say the other way. I wish they'd gone more fish-like.
Yeah, for me it's like one or the other. You know,
Yeah.
I was hoping that they'd go more fish-like with them personally.
They're just a bit too elfy. I think that's the
Yeah.
problem. Maybe they didn't want to go too just generic Atlantis, and they wanted to have like
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels like they're almost Disney fish people, you know, like from The Little Mermaid. Like they still they're not. They still look like people. It's just they just happen to ride on turtles.
Guys, there is a theme for your Ideneth Deepkin.
The Little Mermaid. Yeah, do an Ursula.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'd be up for that.
You know,
That shit is awesome.
do you want a guaranteed? If you're GW, do you want a guaranteed sell on a product? A box of 10 crabs.
Yeah. I like how you said that in a way that sounded like there was going to be more coming.
No, that's it. 10 crabs in a box.
10 crabs in a box. Yeah, absolutely.
With
Everyone
different
loves
poses.
that. People
different
love
poses.
that bloody crab. What is going on?
You could give one like a hook hand instead of a claw, so he looks like a pirate. Maybe one with a peg leg. Wouldn't that
One
be
of
fun?
them obviously has to sing.
Has a little crab harp.
How could you not resist not singing Under the Sea if you play Ideneth Deepkin? That's what I want.
Yeah, you just need an army of little tiny crabs. And then you could have like a big crab. Maybe you could field like an entire crab force.
Oh, that'd be ace.
So you have like a Goliath crab and a leader crab with a little crown.
So, do you remember Warcraft 3?
I love the idea, quite frankly.
You remember Warcraft 3, Andy?
Yes,
Do you remember the Warcraft 3 map editor?
I do, yes.
Okay. Do you remember the fact that you could replace everything in armies in Warcraft 3 map editor?
Yes, I remember trying to make a functional fish people army. Naga army, that's what they were called.
The Naga. I did a full-blown crab army in Warcraft 3. I just increased the scale of all of the
Oh my god.
different crabs. So I think I used the undead, because I always use the undead for making new armies because the undead were fairly undefeatable once you got them going. And so you just have like siege cannons, the meat wagons that were giant crabs that threw little crabs.
Oh my god! I like that.
Whilst eating tiny crabs, it was like because of the way that it all like broke down when you were doing it. The skeletons just became crabs. So you kill people, and then crabs ran from their body, and then the meat wagons would go and pick up all the crabs to fire at other people. It was
perpetual crab.
It was. It was the best thing in the world. It was. I was always really happy with that.
It's the all-you-can-eat crab buffet, yeah?
Yeah. When in doubt, crab.
Crab. Back in day when Warcraft was fun.
I like that Jai says that he went away, came back with some water, and just came back to the sentence, "So, Andy, what's your feelings on Wet and Naked?"
It's not the worst time to come back to something.
Especially as Jai has sat with me talking to the director of Wet and Reckless. That's.
I was going to say, when were you talking with Jai about Wet and Naked?
I was going to say, what's going on? I've clearly missed something. I've come in halfway through a conversation or something.
Wet and Reckless was a film made by Jason Trost, who did the FP. And if anybody out there hasn't seen the FP, I recommend you go and watch the fucking FP. It is one of the best experiences you'll ever have. Well, me and Jai interviewed him for the old oil house back in those days. And, yeah, most of it was talking about Wet and Reckless because that film is incredible. Most of it was filmed completely illegally. They had no permits for filming around like Taiwan. So they were just running back and forth on like marketplaces.
Oh, brilliant.
And if you watch the film, you can actually see them like looking around for police. It's amazing.
So like proper guerrilla filmmaking.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what Jason Trost does. He is like a proper outside the box guerrilla filmmaker.
That's cool. I like that.
Everything he makes is at least worth watching. Even the stuff he's made, which I don't think was very good, it's worth watching just for the sheer amount of love and joy that's in it.
Yeah, the chutzpah of it.
Yeah, and the FP it's like nothing you've ever seen. It's incredible. Which
unless you've seen the FP.
Unless you've seen the FP. No. I mean, do you know what the FP is, George?
I had no idea.
Okay, so the idea is that there's a town called Fraser Park, and all life hangs in the balance between two gangs who are about to beat off, which is basically Dance Dance Revolution.
Okay.
So they're going to fight in Dance Dance Revolution.
Fair enough, I suppose.
Yeah. And that doesn't even begin to explain the sheer beauty of what you... In fact...
The sort of... the bat-shittery of it, yeah?
At some point, I feel like I need to sit down with you and make you... In fact, I want to be in a room with you as you watch the FP.
All right.
I want to sit in a room with you and just watch your reactions to the FP. I've seen it about 20 times. The first time I went to watch it, I stopped watching it about 10 minutes in and went, nope, I'm going to wait for Andy and Jai. I need other...
Made me see it.
I need other people to experience this with me.
This is like a rite of passage, yeah?
It's like The Happening. Only this is a good film, whilst The Happening is either a bad film or the greatest parody I've ever seen. Where
it's a bad film.
Where I refuse to watch it by myself. I can only watch it when introducing other people to it. And without fail, everyone I've introduced it to loves it. Mostly because of what I've done to them.
Okay, you're on. That sounds kind of interesting.
There we go. Let's... Once we're allowed to actually start doing... once we can do things...
I was going to say, is that like a sort of post-COVID thing, yeah?
Yeah, once we're in a position where we can do things like this on a regular basis without worrying too much about it, we all go to Nottingham, we have a good time at Warhammer World, go around to like Warlord games and whatnot, and Footsore and all those places, and then in the evening
Actually, have a game of like AOS and 40k. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely have some games.
that would be nice, wouldn't it?
It really
That would
would.
be a lovely thing.
It would be very nice, and then then we introduce you to the FP.
Okay, sounds good.
George was never seen again.
Or George comes back, but it changed, very changed.
He's seen the FP. He's not the same anymore.
Yeah, it's almost like Lovecraftian. You know, he's writing, dribbling, and insane from his cell.
Joy says it should either be the first FP or maybe Wet and Reckless. Wet and Reckless is so good. That's a really hard one to choose which one to introduce you to the works of Jason Frost. Thing is, right, he made a Ghost Apocalypse movie. And I wouldn't say it's the best thing he's done by a long shot, but it is one of the most infinitely fascinating things I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Because
it's interesting, yeah? Which can sometimes be better than good, you know?
The idea is that New Zealand had a ghost apocalypse, and everybody either ran away or is gone, like vanished. And it's this one guy trying to find his family. And he's walking around, and he uses like radios to find if there's a ghost infestation, because you can hear them in the static. And it's...
Oh, okay, fair enough.
It's got... I don't want to say it's scary, because that's not the right word, but there is so much atmosphere to that film. It's incredible to sit and watch.
Yeah, it does sound interesting, actually.
The ending I had to watch a couple of times to get. But,
right, okay.
Just because it was... not
I like the concept.
The concept's gorgeous. And the
interesting concept.
he's also got a power glove.
Oh, okay. What?
It's so bad.
Yeah, he's tied everything basically he needs to stay alive to a power glove, to a Nintendo power glove.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Doesn't make anything of it. It's just something he's got.
Fair enough. Okay.
Because
I can sort of deal with that.
Everything that Trost does is all based out of what he can get his hands on. That's how he makes his films.
Oddly enough, a power glove is not one of the easiest things to get your hands on.
Well, he already he already had it. He already had it at home, so he just thought, well, I might as well use it.
Yeah.
Joy says it's unnerving. That's the perfect way to describe it. Yeah, it's unnerving.
Oh, cool. Well, that's, I like that stuff, obviously.
He also says, don't you have New Year plans? Yes, if you're on the Discord, I've got some plans for New Year's Eve, a double bill of plans, but I can't tell you what they are.
I'm working. I'm at work, unfortunately.
That's a shame. Well, to be fair, so am I. I'm just going to be running that in the background. Because I don't...
And so am I, because I work every day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. What am I using metal
I'm sorry.
for? Oh! That's right. He's got a little bit on his thingy. I'm not going to paint that yellow, because I don't like yellow.
No, I'm not a huge fan of yellow.
There's one guy in this goblin force that needs a load of yellow on him as well, which I've mostly done.
Mr. White says, a power glove in his arm, a Tomitronic 3D sky attack over his eyes. Unstoppable.
Come on, little moon.
Just as a little side thing, I'm really enjoying myself tonight, so thank you everyone for coming and joining us.
It's a laugh. It's really good fun, actually. We haven't really done a hobby...
No, we've never done a hobby
like
stream
a
before.
collective hobby one, have we?
No.
It's good fun.
I also realise I keep moving myself and getting out of frame, so I do apologise for that. It's just one of those...
Oh, it's all right. I'm getting positively acrobatic here, trying to sort of manoeuvre Fabius so I can get into all of the nooks and crannies of his bloody coat.
Have either of you two been tempted to buy those magnifying glasses that have the lights attached to them?
As my my eyes get worse, yes.
The vanity, like, just no.
Oh,
that's,
okay.
That's part of that. Yeah, it's like no. Not even when it's necessary.
Oh, okay. I was wondering. I was wondering if anyone had any ones that they'd recommend? Because it's like, it would help.
It probably would, actually. You know, in all seriousness, it's probably a good idea, to be honest. Especially since the miniatures are they're getting so detailed now, aren't they? They really are.
In some
And
cases,
it just helps, especially for lighting as well, because sometimes, like, depending on what kind of lighting area you're painting in, you can just be like, I can't see, it's too dark, and then you like you say, acrobating to try and get the light in the right position,
Yes.
and then get your arm in the right position.
Yeah, that's kind of been the theme of this evening, to be honest. But that's the way I've always worked, to be honest, and that's kind of how I like to work.
Acrobatically.
Yeah.
Okay.
your supervisions must be fascinating to watch. Now, you may wonder why we brought you into the office today. If you could stop doing gymnastics, that would be very nice.
Make me!
Make me. So that,
I mean, the funny thing is, we're often doing like supervisions while we're physically working, so they often are quite acrobatic.
yes, I know that very well. Now,
Yeah.
Okay.
time to bring out the brass.
Brassy brass.
Yeah, Rune Lord brass.
Oh my god, that's a Necron colour. You're not allowed to use that.
You can't stop me.
It's illegal.
Yeah, not allowed to do
In
that.
12 sectors.
Zarek will not be pleased.
Zarek can eat my ass.
Oh my god. He literally can't. He doesn't have a mouth.
I was going to say he doesn't have a mouth.
He lost it in biotransference.
Yeah,
Necrons are the least sexually aroused creatures in the galaxy.
guess who's laughing now then? Hint it to me.
Is this where like there's a twerking meme of a demonette in front of them and the Necrons have got the crying meme? They go,
I
can't do anything about this.
Yep. Afraid
We feel
not.
no arousal.
Afraid not. In fact, they must be like Slanesh. They must be kind of obsessive for Slanesh, because how do you get to them?
Yeah, you can't.
I suppose the way in is through obsession, isn't it? Because they do still have obsessions.
Well,
To
massively.
be fair, with a lot of the Necron forces, a lot of them are immune to chaos in a lot
They
of ways,
are,
apart from
yes.
the lords, apart from the actual Necron lords. Most of
Yeah,
them,
because
and
they
actually,
don't.
the chaos wouldn't care about Necrons at all, would they? Because
Not
they don't
really,
have
no.
souls.
They don't have any. No, their souls. They don't have any sort of presence in the warp.
Yeah,
So they
if they
wouldn't
don't have a
really-
soul, then they don't care. Well, we
Yeah.
can't get your soul, so who cares?
Yeah.
It's not like the Tyranids who create a disturbance in the warp. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, they're just a problem.
Yeah.
They're an irritating, destructive problem. The Necrons aren't.
They're not
I
anything.
guess on the radar. I guess they are a threat to chaos, though.
They're
because of
only a
that.
threat to like chaos in the physical sense, I suppose,
Yeah.
and not the metaphysical sense.
Could you arouse a Necron with a picture of a Dyson or some such? Thank you,
That
Cassius.
sounds like
That's more
a
Adeptus
Mechanicus test.
Yeah, that is definitely more Mechanicus, isn't
Yeah.
it? And maybe the Iron Hands as well. They'd probably enjoy that. Oh no, because they're all eunuchs, aren't they? So no.
Aha, take that, Iron Hands. That's why they have Iron Hands, because they touch too much.
Much too touch too much.
Do-do-do-do.
Should be going home instead of having fun. That's possibly the words. I'm not sure.
I mean, the miniature I want Abaddon to paint up. Don't have a Black Legion army. I'm not that interested in a Black Legion army, but I do want Abaddon because he's, what a mini.
Oh, here's a question for you guys. What do you think is a better not Roggledon, Robu Bertman? Do you like the Horus Heresy Robu, or do you like the current 40k one better? Because they are very, very different.
I like the current one. I like
Yeah.
the 40k one better.
Okay.
I think it's just more interesting. I think there's more going on. Like there's more lore in the miniature than there is in the 30k one. The way sort of like symbolically has become the Emperor. You know, I kind of like that. He looks effectively like a big blue version of the Emperor.
I think I like the armor design better in the Horus Heresy version, but I like the head better on the current one. And obviously the pose on the current one, I think, is a bit more dynamic as well than in the Horus Heresy, where he's just a bit more stoic, I suppose.
Have you guys seen, you know, that rumor monger who's always basically like 99.90% of the time right? Have you seen what he says the next Imperial Primarch is going to be?
No.
For 40k? No?
Russ.
Oh.
It's going to be Lehman Russ, apparently, but it's not going to be before all of the Chaos Primarchs are done.
Oh God!
So
Will
like,
we be alive by then?
Not the you know, not when I say all, I mean all of the god-specific ones. So like Fulgrim and Angron, not Perturabo and Morgoth.
That could still be like
it's a long 2
to 4 years or something, right? Depending on how long.
Long time.
I mean, how long has it been since Matarian came out? That's going to be 2 years.
It's a long while, isn't it?
Woof.
It's a long while. But yeah, apparently that's going to be the next Imperial, Lehman Russ.
Good God.
Which kind of makes sense, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I've got no issues with Russ being the next one. I hope he turns up and he's just like the littlest hobo.
And comes back as a corgi.
That
just a really small corgi.
that would make me very happy if he was the littlest hobo.
Given, I mean, like dynamically, like in narrative terms, given that we've had Magnus, you've got to have Russ back, don't you?
You'd think so, yeah. Yeah, you've got Magnus. You got Mortarion to go for.
Yagatai Khan. They've got a real.
Well, I was thinking like him and Robert are going at it quite well. I know I'm calling him Robert, but I want to. He's got a silly name.
But yeah, him and Yagati Khan have got stuff going back to the heresy. Like,
oh, do they? Okay.
Yeah, they've got real beef going back. So that would be cool. And Yagati is one of the ones that could come back as well. I mean, he just disappears at one point in the background. He follows some Drukhari through a big webway portal, and that's the end of him. You never hear from him again. So he could come back very easily.
Oh man, what if, right, he comes back and he's exactly the same as he was when he left?
That would be great, wouldn't it?
It's only been a couple of minutes for him. That would be an amazing
Yagati's
thing.
really fun too. He's a really cool Primarch, so it'd be fun to have him back.
Would it be nice to have what's his name back? Dark Angels dude.
Oh,
the lion.
Lion.
Yeah.
If the Lion comes back, and he probably will at some point, because again, he's one of those ones who he was sucked into the warp. He was almost dead, and he was sucked into the warp. So, don't know. Luther's definitely alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we could get when we get him back, we could get more stuff on the Fallen, I suppose.
Right, absolutely. I'd love to see the Lion come back. I mean, if he does come back, it's probably going to be bad news for Robite, to be honest.
Yeah.
They don't get along.
And also get on with him because he didn't like because when I've heard of like him talked about in the few Horus Heresy audiobooks, everyone's like, oh, he's an asshole.
He wasn't trusted. None of them trusted him because his loyalties were always in flux. Like in the books, he's always considering, like before he actually is forced to decide, he was sort of considering siding with Horus, you know. So yeah,
that would be a very different world, wouldn't it?
It would. He was one of the few who considered like the merits of siding with Horus.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's an odd duck.
Where's Lorgar? I want to see what our Lorgar mini would look like.
Lorgar's on Sicarius, the demon world of the Word Bearers. He's been in a Reclusium tower.
I mean mini-wise.
Oh, mini-wise. Oh,
yeah, that's what we want.
There is artwork of Lorgar in his demonic form. He's
just got a big fiery head, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's like a big dark apostle. You know, he's got like crown of horns and there's fire coming out of it. He's got like that massive mace.
Yeah.
I mean, if he turns up, then it should be like apocalyptic because he should be the ultimate demon Primarch, right? He is the one who orchestrated all of this. He's kind of a big bad, you know?
Could you do like the Chaos equivalent of the Primaris return and have like a mini civil war between him and Abaddon?
Well, the thing is, he likes Abaddon. He
But
and
does
the
Abaddon
word
like him?
he and the word bearers regard Abaddon as like the messiah of chaos, so
okay.
they'd be well behind him.
Hmm.
In the background, according to the Black Legion Codex, the supplement from Sixth Ed, Abaddon is the only one, including all of the other word bearers, that Lorgar has allowed into his reclusium in the last 10,000 years. And what he said to him and what he learned there, nobody knows.
That's a nice little mirror to RoboCop, Gulliman, and
Exactly.
the Emperor.
Exactly. But according to the latest Chaos Codex, he is out and about now, Lorgar, as is Perturabo. There've been sightings of Lorgar, apparently. Whatever that means.
At this point in time, God knows. It's like, come on, anything. I can't believe it's been that long since Mortarion came out, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's been a good long while, hasn't it, eh?
Hmm.
Been a hot minute. Whew. That's definitely for sure.
So just getting some inks on here.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing.
And some wet blending going on. Korax would have to be the next level horror, says Mr. White. Lorgar is running from Korax, scaring the shit out of him.
What happened to Korax at the end? I can't remember what happened to Korax. I know most of the Primarch stories, but I don't know what happened to Korax.
I can't think off the top of my head. Did he say he was going to do something and then just disappear?
And then, like, buggered off, yeah?
Yeah. That sounds familiar, but it might not be right.
I can't remember, to be honest. No. Vulcan is almost certainly in Traz in the Infinites Museum.
Yeah.
It's almost certain at this point.
Did anyone see the Red Gobbo strip the other day that had Traz in the Infinites Museum?
No.
So, he's replaced Abaddon the Despoiler.
Yes, I did, with a squig, yeah.
He went off to hunt Lorgar and was already warped into a more fearsome shape. There we go, that's what happened to Korax. He offed his raptor sons, who had degenerated, then flew off into the eye. There we go. So the cool thing about that Red Gobbo one was that it has the half-elder Space Marine in the background.
Yeah, the original Psyker, yeah, the original librarian.
Namaste, yeah.
Very cool stuff.
Now, whilst he dries, I shall paint this goblin.
So basically, he may as well be like a Chaos Primarch then. Mm-hmm. Korax, yeah?
Mr. White asks, half Eldar Space Marine?
Mm-hmm.
So,
what's a half Eldar Space Marine?
They were a thing once upon a time. Yep. Back in the day, back in Rogue Trader.
Yep.
The Imperium wasn't quite as discerning back then, and not quite as xenophobic. And they did make Space Marines out of other species.
Mm-hmm.
The Eldar being one of them.
And he was the librarian for the Ultramarines.
Yeah, he was like the original librarian. He was the chief librarian, wasn't he? He was the one that ultimately, like, Tigurius is based on.
Mm-hmm. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, right?
Hang on, Lorgar and Korax fused. What would that make? Oh yeah, Natasta was also an ex-astropath. That's right.
Yeah, so it's like all things, yeah? Let's just throw all things together.
I forgot that he was an ex-astropath. Jesus. Yeah, that's something that doesn't fit with the current setting at all.
No, it does not.
One of the things, Andy, that I really like about that grot thing that you're painting at the moment is that the eyes...
the Zagrad Warband guys.
Is that the eyes are really big. and they're very easy.
Well, at least on Zagrag they were.
Yeah.
Some of them, like the caps are covering some of their eyes, and some of them have them slightly closed. So I'm gonna have some difficulty doing the other ones. So I was kind of happy to do Zagrag first because he at least has one giant eye.
You can't really see it because of how washed out it is. Hang on. But the eyes on this guy are going to drive me insane.
I guess do the eyes first and then like paint around them, right?
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that dry, paint his clothes, and then I'll come back in and dot them with my smallest brush.
Oh, please, me lord, give me pence.
No.
No pants for a grot.
I thought you were going for a modern version of Oliver for a second there. Please, sir, can I have some pants?
Please, sir, I'd like some more. More pants?
Not as much more as some, please, sir. Can I have some pants?
Some? Oh my, these poor people are getting uppity, aren't they?
They are indeed.
Wanting pants, how dare they?
Jeez, cripes. What do they want?
Or you want underwear as well, and socks and shoes.
Non-lethal working conditions.
Ah, the jest of the poor.
Oh, how they make us laugh.
I'll put in the Discord the Zagrag that I painted up earlier because I can't take a photo of the other guys that I was working on a little bit ago, but they're gonna be hopefully something like that. Zagrag, the lad.
The lad, I like that.
The lad.
How many, is everybody in the chat a member of the Discord? Just out of interest?
I am.
Yes, Andy. Yes, because you're a good person.
Yay!
There we go. Right. Just sit back for a few minutes.
Whew.
Hello.
Hello.
Just because my spine is starting to hurt a little bit, so...
I think we all require one of those higher leveled working desks so we can lean on them so we don't need to destroy our backs painting.
I'm alright.
Oh, well. All right. Well, alright, I'll shut up then.
Right, the way that I'm having to do it, I'm having to very much curl over myself to paint.
Yeah.
So I think I might not do that. I think I might just sit back for the rest of this and just paint.
It's one of the blessings of Slanesh, Andy. It's this unnatural flexibility.
Well, you are a gymnastic worker, so you know.
And a servant of Slanesh. This is
So whilst I'm doing that, actually, I'll just show off this guy. See if you can see him. No, not really.
He doesn't want to.
What do you want
Do
to
you
do?
have a bit of paper you can hold up in front of your face as well when you do it?
Not particularly.
For the focus, for the focus.
So I've finished the last of the squats.
Yeah. Focus is not friends in general.
No.
Likes your hand though. Oh.
No, too far the other way. That's bloody focus. Hate it.
Talk to the hand, chat.
That's rather good, actually. There we are.
So
Sorry, I'm just talking to myself. I'm just doing the
I've also
lining of Fabulous Bill's coat,
Oh.
which is fun.
What are you doing the coat in?
So
Colour-wise?
basically, the outside is just like it's just like how you would paint skin. Really, it's very easy. But the interior, I've done like it's raw, like it's bleeding.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's still bloody. Just contrasts nicely with like the skin color outside. So it's like very deep red, highlighted almost up to white, and then just washed red.
I thought if you were doing like kind of drippy blood stuff, it would be like blood for the blood god, because then you could slosh it in there, and it kind of gives the gooey look.
Well, don't tell anyone, but I'm not using Games Workshop paints.
Oh my
I
god!
know, because they're very expensive.
They are. Yeah.
I'm using, I think these are Army Painter paints.
Nothing with Army Painter.
I really
Yeah.
like, I'll be honest, I really like them. Thus
I've
far,
never got behind them. Like whenever I use them, it never feels like they go on desperately well. I think I need to just put them on the nail varnish shaker and just leave them
Yeah.
there for like
Yeah.
20
For a little
minutes or
while,
even
yeah.
longer. Maybe even put a bit of thinner in them.
I must
Because I
say,
actually tried to use my Stormhost Silver today from Games Workshop. I was like, this is crap. Why is this so
Yeah.
awful? And then I put my brush as deep as I could into the pot and pulled
Yeah.
out this big lump.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the metal part of the Stormhost Silver. Oh, no.
You've been using the liquid that's at the top, and that's about it.
Yeah, I was
Nice.
wondering like why not like Stormhost Silver is what you use for like highlight metal. I was like, what the hell are they using in these videos? They're lying to me. Mine just kind of leaves a little speckle. And I was like, no, that's it. It's me being stupid. I thought I shook that stuff, and I did shake it. I didn't shake it enough, so I got some sprue, cut up the bit of sprue into like
I
3
stirred
pieces.
it around, yeah.
I threw the 3 bits of sprue into the pot and then put it on my nail varnish shaker, and there you go. It's a noisy thing, but it works.
No, I must admit, I really like these Army Painter paints. The texture is these ones are okay. I don't know. I mean, I just got a job lot. I just got this massive box set.
That's the one I've got as well. Yeah.
Tons of them. I really like them. You've got to shake them and stir them up a bit, mix them with a bit of water to get the right texture. But I'm liking them thus far.
I'm going to show off a little trick here. This is some acrylic and burnt umber that I got from the works. It goes in here. Right?
And then he pulls a rabbit out.
Then I want some white spirit.
Not for drink.
This also goes in here. And what I now have is a really, really, really good brown wash that works perfectly on everything.
More so than Agrax.
Yes.
Ooh.
Right, so now give that a good shake. And what I'll do is I'm going to do this onto something that's half painted, actually, just to show you the results. Come here, you're a slightly larger brush, so you'll do nicely.
Don't want that. Ultramarine blue.
I was always amazed that they got away with that one.
What, yeah, calling it ultramarine blue is a tautology. It's like ultramarine is blue. That's the name for a type of blue.
To be fair though, ultramarine blue isn't too bad of a color to base like
It's actually really nice.
Thousand Suns with, and then like dry brush a brighter blue over the top of them.
It's perfectly lovely. It really is. I'm just being, facetious.
Yeah, because it's the smelly, boring blue boys.
Exactly. Yeah. No, you know what? I don't even think that. I like the ultramarines. I think they're actually really cool. But
I think we need some of the other guys put in the spotlight for.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's definitely true.
That's how you make people excited for a box set as well. You go, oh, it's just Ultramarines. No. It's the Iron Fists.
It's
Or
Black
it's the-
Templars or these guys or whoever.
Yeah. You want to do one of the main color schemes
You guys
as well.
know who's going to win Mini of the Year, don't you? In the fall, it's not. It's gonna be the little servitor cleaning Helbrecht's sword.
I'm going to put it this way.
Obviously.
I know who's winning the Mini of the Year on our Fluffies Awards. Which, by the way, if you haven't gone and voted, please go vote. Because there's a few of them that I would like some other people to vote on. Just to change the rules a little bit. Because there's a few of them.
Oh my god.
Some of them I don't want to win. I don't want to win.
You don't want him to win?
I don't want him to win. But yeah, I know who's winning. And it's not.
And you're not pleased.
I'm confused, I think is the answer.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
What I'm really confused by
fascinating.
is what's missing.
Oh, okay.
There's a few things in there which I would have thought would have had some form of appearance, and they haven't.
I
Had
would have
anything.
thought. I mean, I know it's my personal bias, but I would have thought, he was released earlier this year, at the very beginning of this year. Ziegfeld, he's a fab piece of work.
Sigvald has a showing, without a shadow of a doubt.
Good.
Does the crab have a showing?
I was going to say the crab. Surely.
Fucking, you have no idea how much of a showing.
I was
going
to say, obviously.
I was hoping it wasn't just for the memes at the time, and people would still go in on crab.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
absolutely.
Crab is
dedicated following. Yeah.
Crab is good. Crab is life.
There is definitely the cult of crab.
Yes.
Good. Glad to hear it. No Helbrecht servitor.
No.
That's a surprise. That's a surprise. I might go in and vote for him. Have you seen that picture going around Facebook? Someone's actually, and kudos, because it must have taken forever, has actually smoothed off a great unclean one.
Yes.
And they've got him cleaning
yeah.
it, saying cleaning your great unclean one.
That was horrifying.
That's
It's a horrible, oversized baby. It's gross.
Yeah, it's but kind of brilliant, right?
Oh yeah, it's well done.
It's actually a 3D print. Because the first time I saw it, I thought, my God, how much work did that take? And then I found the STL file. It's like,
well.
Still, not bad.
Still, impressive meme.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hats off to the amount of work that went into that one.
Well, hats off to the servitor too. For his dedication, But yeah, I don't know. Oh, I've lost sound, guys. I don't know what's cracking off there. Oh, there we go. There you are. Maybe it was
just nobody talking.
Ah, right. Okay.
Everybody just painting.
But yeah, there's been a lot of good minis this year. Fabius was last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Fabius was last year because he's bloody good. He's a lovely mini.
So, Joyce is saying white spirit is not generally good for plastics. Correct. That's why there's a varnish on.
My mind is instantly going to the Broken Realm stuff. A lot of that was this year, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
So,
I wouldn't give it to Kragnos though. He's a nice mini, but I wouldn't say he's one of the best ones. He's also the best in his piece.
I'm thinking of the Slanesh twins, obviously.
Oh yeah, I can see them. They work.
Gorgeous. They are. I've got to get them. I've got to get both of them. They are.
I of course.
Stunning.
I'm not giving anything away.
Right.
If you want to know the answers, then you'll have to tune into the Fluffies. Middle of July, January, not July. What the fuck am I saying?
July. Wow. What's
Oh
going
my
on
god.
there? Whoa. Okay. Having a late one this year. Trying to think of what was released this year. There's a lot, isn't there?
There is actually a lot more than I thought.
Helbrecht. There's a lot of Sisters of Battle stuff.
Yeah,
obviously.
loads.
I will say the Sisters of Battle does not get as much of a showing as you might think.
That's surprising. I would have thought, what's her name? That the High Lord of Terror in her big walker thing.
Yeah, very.
Would have gotten a bit of a showing.
Very little. It's quite.
I just love the fact that they actually released the High Lord of Terror. I want them to release all of them.
Oh, that would be good.
I mean, like Belisarius Call, he's not a High Lord of Terror, is he? He's not like the head of the Mechanicum, is he?
No.
He's not, is he? No.
He is the head of the Mechanicum, but he's not a High Lord of Terror.
That's interesting. That's bizarre, because normally the head of the Mechanicum, like the big head honcho, is one of the Lords of Terror.
Mm-hmm. It's probably because he was away building the Primaris for how many billions of years.
Yeah, that's a fair point, because he was in seclusion, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I'm really trying to think of what it could be.
Orcs.
Oh, wow. Actually, yeah.
There are a few good orcs out there.
There's a lot of bloody good orcs released this year.
Thracker was last year, wasn't he?
It's really strange.
Oh, Thracker. Yeah, he was last year.
Yes.
Thracker was last year because he was part of Psychic Awakening, wasn't he?
That's right. Yes. Oh yes.
But the rest, like the rest of the orcs, like the Beast Hunters and whatnot, are all this year. Some of them come. Oh God, have you seen the new Boyz set and everything?
Yeah. Yeah, that looks nice.
Whoa!
They look great.
Whoa! Right? God, a lot of, I mean, many other armies are going to be very jealous. That's as a basic troop box set. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've needed it for a while as well, so it's good that they finally got it. I think we were saying for it when we got the what were they called? The Beast Snaggers? Is that what they were called? I think when we saw them, we were like, so when the boys, because they need new basic boys, and here we go, new basic boys. Yeah, they just need a heavy team now, really, I think.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because we've got Death Choppers as well, which I didn't like. I would have thought Death Choppers would have been way down on the list of things that you want to get out.
Didn't see them coming, like.
No. They look good, though.
They look great. Good. Yeah, I mean, no complaints whatsoever. The Orcs are, they've really pushed hard with the Orcs, and I'm quite pleased.
Yeah, I would never have seen that coming, to be honest, this year.
Zodgrod Wartsnagger's Hair Squig?
Oh.
I really need to get that Zodgrod. I need him for my my AOS Orcs.
Is he only in a box set, or has he got individual release as well? I can't remember.
It's just a box set at the moment.
I think he is at the moment just in a box set, which is annoying.
Of course.
Because I want it, so can't have it.
I mean, who knows how long for me the Death Rattle Lord on Steed.
Oh yes.
Come out. Like, he's in a box of just crap. Unfortunately, he's like with Black Knights, which are a really old set, and he's with the Grave Guard, which look incredibly out of place.
Yes. Oh.
The Grave Guard, who just look like the normal skeleton troops, just small.
Yeah. Oh dear.
I do need to work out.
Laukavai, she came out this year, didn't she?
She did, yeah.
Now
she's lovely.
There's somebody who's got a real big showing, which I'm surprised at, because a lot of people seem to be very against her, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah.
In what sense?
Just the sculpt design.
I thought she was gorgeous.
Same.
I think it's better than the Russian vampire lady on the wolf. I've never been a fan of that one.
Oh, I can't remember her name off the top of my head. I like the background for those guys. The
totem-esque.
The werewolves, effectively. If they when they do the Soul Blight again, I really want them to expand on them.
Oh, George, you know what you should do if you ever go into Soul Blight? You should make a Quailag for your vampires.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah,
whoa, yeah. That'd be brilliant.
Obviously, cover up her wobblies and whatnot. Give us some actual armor.
Yes. Well,
so it should be a little bit more effective in combat.
You may have to explain what a Quailag is.
Quailag is one of the bosses in Dark Souls. She has the upper naked torso of a lady, and she has the bottom of a giant spider which vomits lava.
Yes, a giant fiery spider demon.
Yeah.
Excellent.
She's very cool.
And her story is sad, like everything in Dark Souls.
It really is. Like, those sisters have got some of the saddest stories in Dark Souls 1.
Yeah. Is that you, sister? Oh, no.
No, I'm going to lie to you and say that it is.
It's me.
And then I'm going to kill you later when it's convenient.
Yeah, once I've gone through all of your quest line, I'll kill you.
Then I'll kill you because you give good shit. So,
you give a Firekeeper soul. I need that.
Yeah, I need that. Sorry.
Not sorry.
Yeah, not sorry at all, really.
But yeah, she'd work for a really good base for a boss. For a Soul Blight Gravelord lady.
She would. She'd be good for a Slaanesh Demon Princess as well, or something.
Oh, that could work. Yeah. Is there anything from Dark Souls 2? Oh, Covenant's Demon. He'd be a good Nurgle creature.
Wouldn't he just?
Yeah.
Wouldn't he just? He's got everything, really.
Is there anything else that's decent in Dark Souls 2 that you could use? No, because most of them are just dudes in armor, which is boring.
The vast majority are dudes in armor.
I guess you could use them for Stormcast if you wanted to.
I was going to say use them for Stormcast. I am sort of coming round a little bit more on Dark Souls 2. There are things about it I really like. You know?
Yeah, there are elements. It's just the game. The game itself is just unpleasant. Like, those hitboxes are atrocious.
Oh my god, yeah. Like, some of the bosses, the only reason they are bosses is because the hitboxes are cheap. That one before what's he called? Vandrick, the king, that big guy.
Oh, you mean the one before him with the bell hammer?
Bullshit.
Yeah,
I hate that boss. I hate its guts.
Yeah.
The only reason it's a boss is because the hitbox on its mace is insane.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
You know?
Veldrad?
Vendrick?
It's something. No, Vendrick's the king. Vendrick's the king.
That's right, yeah.
No, I can't remember the other guy. But yeah, he sucks. And you're in this tiny room with him. You can basically run in, get in, and you run away from him, and that's the fight. It's like,
yeah, it's
boring.
not good. I hated that boss fight to bits.
Yeah. The demon king in the lava field is just a basic demon. There's nothing interesting visually about him, unfortunately. So it's like,
No. It's a strange one. There are things about Dark Souls 2 I really love, like some of the things it does with the lore and some of the stuff it does with the setting is great.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
Laic is awesome, right?
And Majula is one of the best hub worlds, visually at least one of the best looking hub worlds.
And in terms of atmosphere as well, I think like it's just really beautiful. It's just there are elements of the game that are just
awful. The Shrine of Amana, everybody's favorite part. Pull out a bow and shoot everything long distance is the only way to make that acceptable. Otherwise, it's just pain.
Yeah, it's just awful, isn't it? It took me so long to get through that. You know, in my original Let's Play, in the end, I turn off the recording and just get through it. And then there's a video where I go, right, that's done. Never doing that again.
Did you do Scholar of the First Sins? Because they didn't. It
yes,
helped.
yes.
It helped, but it still was. It's still crap area.
It is. It's still awful.
Yeah.
I did do Scholar of the First Sin, yes. I mean, the DLC in Dark Souls 2 is awesome.
Yeah, it's still got the gameplay problems, but the actual lore and the story and the areas look way
lovely,
better,
isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, the lore it adds into the game is amazing. All that stuff about the queens being like the children of Manus, like the manifestations of the shards of Manus from the original game. I love that.
Yeah, and the fight against. What was the king called at the very end when you get all the soldiers?
The burnt
and you have to block
ivory
them?
king.
Ivory
King.
That is a cool fight, but it's also super irritating.
It's epic, that fight.
Yes.
But it is difficult. It is a real. Oof.
And it's not long till Elden Ring either. We're only 2 months away, basically.
And I've managed to get my PS5. Yay! Just at the right time. Bloody hell.
It sounds like a lot of people this year have actually been able to get, well, at least the people I know have said they've got PS5, which I'm like, wow, finally, after what,
Thank
2-3 years of it being out?
Yeah, Jesus. I actually kind of want to do Demon Souls first.
Oh, you don't have time.
I never played Demon Souls. That was the only one I haven't played, so it'd be nice to go through that.
It looks like it's a fairly decent remake.
Yeah, it looks fun. I mean,
upscale, upgrade. I don't know how you want to describe it.
I've never played it, so either way, it's fine by me. You know, I came in at Bloodborne. You know, I had to.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to sort of go back and play.
Yeah, you had to lower your expectations after that. Jesus.
Yeah, right. I came in on the best one.
Yeah, pretty much. I started on Dark Souls and went to Dark Souls 2, and then obviously 3, and then much later Bloodborne finally.
I played all over the shop. I played Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, Dark Souls 1, then Dark Souls 2.
That's. I don't know. Is Dark Souls 3 better than Dark Souls 1? I was gonna say you kept going down to the worse and worse. I think it's hard to pick from Dark Souls 1 to 3 because Dark Souls 3 plays better. It plays a lot better.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. They've made a lot of refinements in Dark Souls 3.
But the way the Dark Souls 1 world is made, like how all the levels connected, it's the best connected world.
Yeah, it is.
Even though it's unfinished.
I think I like, just on a personal level, I like the lore better in Dark Souls 3, and I like what they do with the world, particularly in the Ring City DLC.
That is good, yeah. Before that, when Dark Souls 3 was just the base game, it's okay. There's a few too many nods to Dark Souls 1 in it, but
it's kind of a weird remake in a way, isn't it? It's odd.
It's almost a bit fanficky in a way, like, oh, we got to put in a Dark Souls 1 reference here and here and here and here and here. It's like, okay, calm down.
Yeah, I definitely get that as a complaint, but at the same time, I really like it because it's like, it is the recycling nature of this universe, which which I like a lot. I like the fact that certain events come round again in subtly different ways. But the DLC, like the Ring City DLC, kind of ties all that together.
Yeah, Ring City is great.
It's an evil
That's a really
pain.
good one.
It's an evil pain, but it's really good. It's so hard. Oh my god, it's so difficult.
It's got some really nasty traps in it. And what's the dragon called? Ymir? Not Ymir.
Dark Eater Medea.
Medea, that's it, yeah.
Yeah. Woof.
Oof.
What a boss, right? Hardest boss in Dark Souls, I think. Personally, for me, it was the hardest boss. Yeah,
He's pretty rough, yeah. Again, because he can one-shot you quite easily.
Yep.
And he's so hard to hit.
Easily, yeah.
For being such a big dragon, he's so hard to hit.
He's so mobile, isn't he? He's
Yeah.
so difficult to get a bead on. I still think some of the bosses in Bloodborne are harder.
Yeah, yeah.
They're just more aggressive because of the nature of the game, you know?
I'd agree with that. That's why I'm interested to see how the bosses are going to work in Elden Ring, because I've seen a bit of gameplay from people doing the beta and stuff like that, and it seems, obviously, it's a lot more Dark Souls than it is Bloodborne, and I'm fine with that.
That's fine, yeah.
Yeah.
That seems to be the nature of the world, doesn't it? So it's fine.
It's the first open world game that I'm actually interested in years.
Yeah,
Because it actually looks fun to play.
Well, yeah, from what I understand, from what people have been saying, it does what everyone wants from an open world game, i.e. you don't have this vast, like, empty world. It's actually got stuff in it.
And it's not going, there's an earth-shattering event that you have to go and take care of. Well, you go and do 500 of tiny things and race a horse and everything unimportant. Like, okay, no, you just go and you do your stuff. And it's like, okay, good.
Are you telling me you're not interested in the Sonic the Hedgehog open world game?
No, I don't know.
No.
What could go wrong with that? The only thing I'm shocked Sonic hasn't done yet is a battle royale, and I'm sure that's coming.
I'm sure that's not that far away, is it?
No.
There was Sonic Battle for the DS.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, I suppose, yeah. Why learn from our mistakes as a Sonic team? Why build off the success of Sonic Generations to a lesser extent, and Sonic Mania to a greater extent?
Yeah. Why bother with
This is what people want. Shall we do that? No.
No.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
We shall not.
Let's make a game where you can make a non-talking character. We'll do that, and we'll next do an open world game. It's like, no.
It's like,
no.
It's so weird.
No, stop it.
Yeah, it's such a shame. Sonic Mania was fantastic.
Yeah, well, it wasn't done by Sega, so yeah.
Yeah, of course it was good.
Yeah, I don't
dear
understand what the hell, because there's now been more. Well, there's been a lot more bad Sonic games than has been good.
Yeah, it's because they don't know what to do with Sonic.
Yeah.
They have no idea. They're just they're chasing trends with Sonic. They're like, what does Mario do? We'll do what Mario does, but obviously worse.
Worse, right. It's a bizarre business model, to be perfectly honest.
I don't know. Poor Sonic.
Always turns.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah, it is. What I think they should do is they should just get Richard Olsen and
Nigel Kitching.
That's the one, Nigel Kitching, to write a Sonic game, and then I'll just play that and I'll be happy.
That's too much to hope for, Gruff. Stop it.
Absolutely.
It is a little bit too much, I'm afraid.
Here's a weird one for you. I've watched the Sonic film a couple of times now, because Joseph actually really enjoys it.
It's not terrible.
It isn't. It's fine. It feels like the script was written in the mid-90s.
Right, it didn't make me want to like hurt myself, so that's a plus.
Agreed, yeah.
I found it it's an enjoyable little film. You know, it does
it's fine for what it tries to do. I think it's really successful.
Yeah, it's all good. I quite like it. But
I
was watching it and it hit me how dated Sonic the Hedgehog actually looks now. When you look at him in the film and he's got all that texture and everything, and then you see him in the games and he still looks like something from the mid-2000s.
Yeah, right.
I kind of agree, but then Mario hasn't really updated his look. They've just kind of added a little bit of texture to his clothing. And that's about it.
But if we move away from the idea that Sonic just does what Mario does constantly, if they try to make him into his own thing again.
Well, yeah, I guess my meaning is that they don't have to update his look just to kind of pull him away from Mario,
No.
But I can see where you're coming from. Like, there's no reason why you can't have maybe a little updating to his texture so he doesn't have just, like,
2 or 3 giant spines coming out of his back. If you wanted to put that
Yeah.
bit, okay, I'd be fine with that. Again, like they did in the movie, like you say.
Yeah, it was just a weird little thought that popped into my head of, yeah, oh yeah. Which is weird when you think about what that original Sonic looked like in the film.
Oh god.
my god.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they'd release like a director's cut where the
With that Sonic.
with that horrible man mouth.
Oh wow, it was bad, wasn't it?
It's incredible.
Oh, there's a Lego Ideas official Sonic the Hedgehog Green Hill Zone set
Yes.
overview trailer.
I saw
Looks
that.
good fun, doesn't it?
I saw that earlier on. But,
Would that be something that intrigues the Gruff,
maybe?
being a Sonic Mania man?
Maybe. I think my days of caring about Sonic the Hedgehog are way behind me at this point. Like,
Are you telling me you still don't want that Sonic the Hedgehog toy of the giant Robotnik thing where you can launch a Sonic at him and he explodes?
did I say
I
those
was talking
words?
to Chris McFeely about that on Twitter earlier. It's a lovely thing, that is.
If I see it in the shop, I might be interested if I've got the cash.
It does all the stuff that it does in the game. It even falls apart like it does in the game when you destroy it, which is really cute.
Yes, yeah. It makes you wonder why they never did stuff like that years
Back
ago.
in the day, right?
Yeah.
When we were kids, right?
I can kind of understand. I can understand why they didn't, because we never really got game products. How long
No.
did it take us
It took
to get
forever,
game
didn't
products?
The
Yeah,
only stuff
I
we
remember
got
seeing
was,
like
it was just the homegrown stuff like Sonic the comic and whatnot, wasn't it? You know, that was it. That was all
think
we got, really.
the earliest stuff I remember seeing was like after Final Fantasy VII came out. It was in like specialized magazines. You'd see these figures that were clearly coming from Japan.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like that's the first time. And I remember really wanting Resident Evil 2 action figures that came out around the same time.
Yes.
I was like, by today's standards, they were pretty crappy.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember seeing them be like, oh man, I'd love a Lictor and stuff like that. It's like, you couldn't get them here though.
No, I mean we did get like there were like series of them later on, weren't there?
Yes,
You know,
yeah.
like McFarlane style toys. I remember having the Birkin, the William Birkin from that set with the
Oh,
eye
wow.
swiveling in the shoulder. Just awesome, absolutely awesome. Still one of my favorite. I mean, actually, he's been supplanted as my favorite Resident Evil monster with Resi 8 Miranda. Whew.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Miranda is something else. I mean, the best last boss fight of Resident Evil by a country mile.
Oddly enough, she looks way more like a Dark Souls kind
She
of
looks-
creature with
she
the whole
does.
wings and
She
whatnot.
does, yeah, she absolutely does.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that in Resi 8, actually. A lot of
Yeah, I'd
the
agree.
werewolves look like they're from Bloodborne. They really do. But I really don't mind that. I was so surprised by Resi 8. I think it's one of the best of the Resi games, full stop. I'll be honest.
Okay.
I think they've really done something really clever with it. It's the first time Resident Evil. I love Resident Evil, but you don't care about the story. It's not about the story, is it? You know, they're all sort of very bargain basement sort of B movie horror plots, right? They're fun. They're just fun.
Disagree
Resi
entirely.
8.
Resi 4's story is incredible.
Oh, I'm replaying Resi 4 at the moment. Do you know, I never realized how fucking racist it is. I never got it through my skull. It's unbelievably racist, that game.
Oh dear. Okay.
Yeah, like the stuff in it, you would not have gotten away with it in a 1940s cartoon.
Like what?
Like at the beginning, you know, when Leon is in the police car being transported by the two European cops, the voices they've got are like, oh no,
No, they're stereotypical if I remember right.
oh no. Oh, that stereotypical doesn't really cover it, you know? It's a weird thing because I'm currently Let's Playing it for the channel, and I was saying on my videos, I don't know to what extent this is parody. You know, I don't know to what extent this is a kind of deliberate satire of certain attitudes around at the time. Because, you know, the story is also all about the War on Terror, right?
I always
It's a
thought
real
Resi
Bush administration game. It's so weird.
I'm really baffled by that because I didn't know any of that. I always saw it as being comedy. Which,
Well, yeah, I mean, that is definitely there. It is really funny as well. I don't know to what degree it's intentionally funny, though, and to what degree it's just funny because it's so over the top and so ridiculous. Fun game. I mean, really, really good game. But parts of it at the moment are making me go, ooh. Things have changed since, like, the mid 2000s. They really have.
I streamed it not too long ago, and I didn't pick up any on any of this stuff. But I wasn't really looking, to be honest. I was just enjoying the game. I was just having fun.
It's
until the end when I got really, really annoyed by the game.
I'm just surprised at what a Bush administration game it is, or rather, like how it's redolent of the cultural concerns of that era. It's really fascinating. Really fascinating. I mean, it is. I called my first video of it like Team Leon World Police, because that's what it's like. Leon comes into a European setting and just starts destroying everything. It's really kind of weirdly funny, and yet.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they kind of start it. They do kill the officers in the police car and start attacking him.
But that's the point, isn't it? I mean, that's all part of it, isn't it? It's all part of this paranoia of the foreign and of the different, and it's like interesting.
I wouldn't have looked at it like that myself, but okay, I would have just seen it as they've got a parasite in them, and it's a Resident Evil game.
Well, even the parasite is like ideological, right? It becomes a matter of religion. You even get Sadler talking about you Americans and your foreign policy and whatnot at various points throughout the game. It is such a war on terror game, and I don't know to what degree it's buying into the ideology of the war on terror, like the Bush administration stuff, and to what degree it's satirizing it. It walks this really fine line where it's difficult to tell what it's doing.
See, all I remember from that is Leon looks like a woman, fights like a man, Kennedy, and that's about everything I remember. And also it being very, very, very funny.
It is funny. I mean, it's got. I mean, it's great
Sadler
monsters as well.
Sadler's just hilarious.
Great monsters. I mean, like the Las Plagas monsters are great. I love it when the villagers' heads start to explode and the parasite comes out of the neck. I love that. I think that's really cool. A brilliant effect. I mean, some of the set pieces get so silly. I mean, this is the start. I mean, Resident Evil was always silly, but this is the start of Resident Evil getting really bloody silly.
Well, you look at what came next when it comes to Resident Evil, and it's like 6, 7, maybe even 10 years of just awful.
Right until 5's great. As long as you're doing it co-op, 5's a great game. It's a great co-op experience.
That's not how I remember it at all.
Did you play with someone or play on your own?
I think I played it with Ross.
Oh, you played with the wrong person then. Whenever I've played it with my buddy Chris, we've always had a good time killing those spiders with the little fluffy slippers on their feet. Going around punching big men, wrestling them for bangles, for jeweled bangles. It was a good time. You shoot them once, they put their hands up, you run, you do an uppercut. That's how you wrestle with a big man.
I think by that point, I'd kind of fallen out of it. I don't think I played 5.
5's fun, but 6, I didn't like 6. 6 gave me a headache. It's got 3 stories running all at the same time, and they're all kind of it's a mess.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't that the one that's like got different parts like running concurrently? And
each like the idea behind it is each story is a different style game. So like the Leon one's meant to be more traditional. Right, yeah. I don't think they pull it off desperately well, but the concept behind it is not bad. Your Chris Redfield one is meant to be your Resident Evil 5. You're running, gun, and shooting, and I can't remember what the one with the other Wesker kid is meant to be. I can't remember what that one's meant to be based off, but it didn't stick with me. I played that one again with Chris, and I said, I don't want to play this one. Can we just play 5 instead? It's just more fun.
I love what they did with Chris in like the recent Resi games, like from 7 to 8, where he's a much more interesting, kind of ambiguous character.
Bullshit! He can't punch a boulder inside a volcano. He's shit now.
I mean, what they've done now, they've kind of made him like a Black Ops guy. You know, he's interesting.
No, if he can't punch a boulder with his bare hands, get fucked. I want like Chris Redfield to be able to pick up a polar bear and rip it in half.
To be fair, I mean, you do get to play him in the DLC for Resi 7, and he kicks ass. He really does.
Yeah, you get to play with him at the end of 8, and he's not bad.
Oh, yes,
he's got all the guns.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, and again, he's kind of a badass, right?
Yeah.
The character
But
model is awesome.
here's the thing: I don't think Chris is that big of a badass in 7 because he's outdone completely by Zoe's uncle.
Ah, that's true. Yes.
Like he's Chris is fine. The uncle, he just punches things.
Oh, he's awesome, isn't he?
just
That
no
DLC
guns,
is
only
insane.
punching.
I actually let's played that for my channel, and all you can hear is me laughing my arse off all the way through because
not bad.
it's so funny.
Yeah, it's almost if you gave the uncle a pipe, it would be condemned.
Yeah, except fun, right?
Yeah.
I hope they bring them back, because Zoe and
Condemned.
the uncle are still out
them,
there,
okay.
right?
That's true. Yeah,
In story terms, they're still out there, yeah.
I have a feeling they're not gonna because they kind of
It's
ignored a
over.
lot of the story in 7. I didn't like the story in 8 because they just kind of the twist ending doesn't make any sense for how Resident Evil 7 plays out. If you ask me.
Oh, with I won't
the
spoil
stuff.
it.
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
someone in the chat, but the Ethan reveal, yeah.
Yeah, there's no way that can work out with how the beginning of 7 starts. I don't see how that logic works.
It's been ages since I played 7. I can't quite remember off the top of my head.
Yeah. And we can't talk about it without
No, we
spoiling
can't.
it. So.
We can't, not without spoiling it, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
yeah. No, I'm playing through Resi 8 with our mutual friend Ray Curran at the moment.
Oh, nice, cool.
He is fucking loving it. It's just I'm
Ah.
playing it with him and his husband, and we played for 6 hours the other day. We played from Castle Dimitrescu right up to Heisenberg's factory.
Oh, that's a good day. You
was-
pushed through quite a lot.
Yeah, it was good fun. It was really good fun.
I would say like one of the best bits and worst bits in that game is the let's call it the dollhouse sequence.
Oh, House Beneviento.
It's one of the best bits because
Awesome.
on the first go through, it's good. On the second go through, you know exactly what to do and you just
Yeah.
blast through it, and it's like
Yeah.
okay,
But
there's nothing to be
wow,
concerned
like
about.
the
First time through,
psychological-
great.
Yeah, the psychological horror is great.
Yeah, like I say, the issue with it is it's a one hit wonder, and once you've done it once, unless you don't play for ages and
Yeah.
you forget everything, you just like I say, it's a very quick sequence.
Again, in my video of it, I didn't know what was coming.
Oh,
So when a certain thing turns up, you hear me shriek. Yeah. But no, I loved the House Beneviento sequence. I mean, it's a bit naughty because it's them basically saying, we can do the Silent Hill thing.
yeah,
Basically, isn't it? And we can do it really well, and yeah, they can. It's a
not
very
as
good
not as
sequence.
well as Silent Hill. I think
No,
PT
but
was
it's a
better.
good sequence. It's a very decently done sequence, Yeah, I mean, you'll never get as good as PT. I mean, there was that independent game Visage is a very good fist.
That's
of it.
pretty solid. Yeah.
I mean, that scared the shit out of me. I've got to say, I really found that a scary game. Very atmospheric. Again, there are videos where you hear me shriek. Properly like lose my shit. Which is rare for a horror game, I've got to say. I mean, there are not many that do that to me in that way.
But that one got you.
That one did, yeah. That one absolutely did. There were just some amazing set pieces in Visage. Visage. It's a bit clunky in parts because it is an indie game, and there are certain moments which are not quite as baked as others, but generally
It's a
speaking,
lot of content for an indie game as well.
right?
A lot
And
of content.
it's beautifully done. I mean, the horror is so sophisticated. It's drawing on what was started in PT effectively, and then expounding on that massively. There's some beautiful horror in that game, like genuinely beautiful horror, and very moving as well. There's a lot of it's very emotional, which I like. I like that a great deal.
I'm just painting rivets, which is why I'm not talking.
I was wondering if we'd lost you there for a minute, Adam.
No, just painting tiny fucking rivets.
Well, I've got to say, it's taken me this long to do the red raw inner lining of Fabius's coat, but it's getting there.
So I think once I've got a
It's
wash
getting there.
on this guy, and then a couple of highlights, and then I think that's baller done.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
Completely finished.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I need to do the base as well.
I mean, I'm looking forward to painting this guy, to doing Zigfold. I still don't know what I'm going to do with him.
I'm thinking aquamarine and bright pink.
Oh, classic Slanesh, yeah?
Yeah.
You could give him like the Space Marine armor of like black highlights with the pink on the inner side of the armor.
Oh,
That's always
right.
a solid look.
That's kind of cool, yeah. I don't know what to do with him because he's. I mean, there's some beautiful schemes on the internet. I looked up what some people have done with him. Some people have painted his armor like the facets are mirrors and stuff like that, and it's like bloody Nora.
I think you want something to contrast the golden hair, which is one. It's not like a bad choice, but it's something that the golden hair and the golden armor they kind of mush color-wise a little bit too much.
It's an odd one, isn't it? It is tricky.
No, it makes sense. I totally understand why it's done like that. It's just
yeah, totally. I mean, his armor is called the Auric armor, so it's gold.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, technically it's gold. But other people have done like, oh, Ray's fine, Jai. Ray's absolutely fine. Yeah, he's doing really, really well. Yeah, he's okay. His husband John just got over COVID, so you know he's been isolating a little bit. But yeah, they're absolutely fine. He's very pleased that I've got a PS5 because that means now I can play video games and he can watch them.
oh, yeah.
Which tends to be how it happens.
I'm gonna have to drop out now, guys, because I've got my stream to start. But it's been
Oh,
fun.
right. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
been a blast, Andy. Real blast.
It has been a very lovely thing. I think it won't be too far off us finishing up for the night
Yeah,
as well.
I think that's pretty much me for the time being.
I will catch you peoples later. Bye bye, everybody on Twitch.
Bye, Andy.
Bye, Andy. I think I want to leave this guy to dry out a bit before I put any washes and stuff onto him. So
Actually, I mean, what I found is that this has been a nice motivation. I often do find it difficult to make time for myself to sit down and do this, even though I really enjoy it.
oh, absolutely, and just having people to talk to, I think, has been very nice.
Yeah,
It's been
very
quite-
nice indeed.
It's been quite nice. I know that I haven't really spent much time talking to the chat tonight. That's because I've been hunched over.
We've been busy, haven't we? We've been painting. You know, I think that's okay.
You know, I mean, anybody wants to just jump on the chat now, you know. It's,
It was lovely hearing from Colin as well. Actually,
absolutely a nice little surprise.
that was brilliant.
That was quite fun. That was a lot of fun. And Colin's always a lovely person to talk to. So, I mean, does anybody have any questions or anything they want to ask in the chat before we start closing up?
Before we skedaddle, yeah.
Yeah. Anybody want to throw anything that they want to hear us discuss quickly or anything like that? Just that's baller done so far. Let's just see if we can get a decent.
There was one thing I wanted to ask you, Adam. Did you notice that, like, you know, the Chaos Space Marine miniatures we've been shown?
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice that it's not all of them that were?
I did.
Yeah, right. There's two. One of them's really naughty. It was a hammer, so everyone thought that it was the hammer from the Chaos Tech Priest thing.
Mhm.
It's not. It's not. It's a different
Ooh.
hammer. It's got a Slanesh symbol on it.
Mm-hmm. Which means Slanesh is coming in.
That makes me think it could be Eidolon.
Possible.
You know, Lord Commander Eidolon, he is supposed to carry a big, like, Slaneshi hammer around, so maybe. And the other one is the big demonic claw, which looks like it's from a demon engine.
Mm-hmm. I would say Demon Engine.
We haven't seen what that's from yet.
But
So clearly
then-
the Chaos range is actually going to be a bit bigger than what we've been shown.
But then saying that, we saw a hammer that had venting on it.
Yeah.
Curse Dwarf.
Is that what you think, yeah?
Well, that's not what I think. It's
That's what you hope,
yeah.
yeah?
It's what I pray for. It's nightly. I spent my my evenings praying to Hashut for a Chaos Dwarf.
Yeah, of course. Well, you know, what are they called?
The
What do they
Oathbreakers.
call them? The Oathbreakers have been teased, haven't they?
They keep getting bloody teased. They've been bloody teased
They
since
keep getting
first edition.
teased, yeah.
There's actually a thing in
And
the
you get, like, the odd miniature in, like, Chaos War bands and things like that, right?
Yeah. Need to stop doing this and actually give me my goddamn Chaos Dwarfs.
I'd actually just give them to you. Just release a Chaos Dwarf force, yeah?
We know I'll buy them. You know.
Yeah, right.
You know, we know that I'll make a Cursed Dwarf army unless they completely mess it up and go so far removed from anything I like about Cursed Dwarfs. Which, considering I like both big hats and heavy armor, I like heavy industrial. Yeah. Come on, you really can't. If they went full Victorian with them, I would be a bit problem. If they had pantaloons, I would hate them.
Yeah, actually, Adam White, I'm with you on that. I think that would be really cool. I think if like Lehman Russ comes back, for example, he's been in the warp so long, he should be a big wolfen, right? Big werewolf. Make him like a demon Primarch equivalent, but for the Imperium.
Well, rumor is it that the Imperium's going to get split into two again. You
know, that'd be grand.
The Imperial Secundus.
I'm totally up for that. I think that would be fantastic. I'd love to see more tension between the different parts of the Imperium.
I mean, if you had, like, you know, Gulliman on one side and then the more broken, like the Dark Angels, Space Wolves, Blood Angels.
The ones that are a bit more, yeah.
I mean...
That's a great idea.
What would make that really interesting is that Gilliman obeyed Sanguinius back in the day. You know, so... Yeah, he looked at Sanguinius as being the there was a name they gave him, wasn't there? The Emperor.
It was the Regent, wasn't it? He was like the Regent of the new Empire. Yeah.
So having so I've just seen Nick saying, "Watch this! A full Chaos Dwarf army gets released, all of them with pantaloons."
All with pantaloons, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Gilliman would be in such a weird state of mind there, having to, you know, push the Blood Angels out because of his relationship with Sanguinius.
Yeah, it's. I mean, he actually regarded Sanguinius as the better choice, didn't he, than himself?
He did. Yeah. So
which is interesting.
That could be something really interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree as well. I mean, Sanguinius has this real sense of grace about him. Which is really beautiful. I mean, of all the Imperial Primarchs, he's the one I think who is, despite his obvious flaw, you know, which is the curse of his blood and everything, he's kind of straight down the line. He is a good guy, you know, which is an unusual thing for any of the Primarchs to be, quite frankly.
And you're absolutely right. He is like he is noble.
Yeah, he's a decent person. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's still like a big super space Nazi, like all of them are. But you know.
But his heart's in the right place.
What are you going to do about that? They all are, you know. Even Gilliman is that, you know.
I honestly thought you were about to say even Goering. I was like, hang on a second. let's just stop that right there. Imagine a Necromunda duck pond, ducks sold separately. Yes, but considering the fact they've just done a Necromunda marketplace, I would be
brilliant.
All up for a Necromunda duck pond.
Yeah, anything that's more domestic in Necromunda I'm up for, because I love all that stuff.
Rat farm. Because you got those...
Like the...
You got those weird scuttling rats, haven't you?
Yeah, like the politics of, like, between the gangs and then the families of the Upper Hive, I think is just stunning. I love all that stuff.
Oh, absolutely. That's the stuff about Necromunda. It's why I did the Necromunda Historica series, out now on YouTube. Because the history of Necromunda is vastly more interesting than the actual game.
Well, I think
I say that as somebody who enjoys the game.
Yeah, I mean, what Necromunda provides is a microcosm, isn't it, of like the wider Imperium. You actually get to see what it's like to live on a world in the Imperium, which is really cool. It's really fun to see. You know, not to experience. It's awful to experience, but it's fun to see.
Oh, are you saying that you wouldn't want to spend a holiday in Necromunda?
No. There's nowhere in the Imperium that would be good to live, I don't think.
I was going to say Cadia.
No. Which bit of it?
That bit over there. And I think Catachan would be a very nice place to visit, as long as you didn't get outside the APC.
I mean, even like Macragge it's the most civilized world in the Imperium, and even that is pretty terrible.
I'm going to have to think about this one. I need to find the nicest place in the Imperium to visit.
I mean, the 40k universe, there are places that would be nice to live. Like some of the craft worlds would be nice places to live. If you were an Eldari, not if you were human. It would be terrible if you were human.
The place that Commissar was going to say comes out flash art. Oh,
I'd like to see that.
Kane, Cypher's Kane, that he retires to, because he always talks about how nice that is, but then again he's quite senile by that point. So
Yeah.
I mean, do not boop the snoot of the barking toad. Nice, very nice. Right, shall we start getting out of here then, George?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys. Thanks so much for joining us. I think should we do this a bit more regularly, Adam?
I think so. I think so.
Oh, this is fun. It's a nice sort of wind down. Actually, it's a nice sort of. I found this very therapeutic.
Yeah. I think this, and also I think at some point we need to play Talisman on Steam.
Yeah, totally up for that.
I know Andy wants to play Underworlds at some point, but I think we need to play some Talisman just so I can drive you all mad. Because I am evil. And Matt, you're invited, by the way. You're invited to come and play Talisman.
Oh, that'd be great fun.
Because Matt loves being beaten at Talisman. Don't you, Matt? What's it like being a frog, Matt? What's it like? Oh, right. Before we go any further, Jai has had a response. Now, this will mean nothing to anyone, but Jai, that's fucking awesome, and I'm really happy for you, mate. I hope that all works out, and you get all the stuff that you want, because that we'll find out what happens with that down the line. Because if Jai is correct, and I'm going to have to talk to him after this on chat, Jai might have his hands on the stuff that he has treasured for many, many years.
Oh, brilliant.
It's like, oh, some good old-fashioned children's TV from the 70s and 80s. Nice.
Oh, I think I know what this is, actually.
Yeah, but
I think I know.
It's Jai, so you know exactly what it is. And
I think I know exactly what this is.
I shall not fuck off, Matt. Matt, you will play me on Talisman. You will be beaten down and spend your life as a frog.
I actually got the theme tune, guys. Theme tune rolling around in my head.
Right. Let's get out of here. Thank you so much. Obviously,
thanks so much, guys.
Obviously, if you haven't voted on the Fluffies, please go vote on the Fluffies. If you, which you can do at thefluffandhammer.com. And yeah, at the moment that's about it. Go like, respond, leave comments on YouTube, leave us a review on iTunes, which is something I never ask people to do, but might as well. Everyone else asks you to do it, so I'm going to do the same. Yeah, I'll see you all later, and much love. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.